Oh boy.
Holy moly.
I feel alive. I feel hugely alive.
Good. That's what I love, just sitting down, having these good conversations on the pod, and I'm really looking forward to this. So let's get it started.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 22. 22 episodes in 2022. We didn't film them all in 2022. I don't know I said that, but we're in 2022.
That's significant.
We filmed like half in 2022 and the rest in 2021 at the end of the year. But we are here today with my co-host, Kevin Liss. We here in Nashville. Say something, Kev, for the folks.
Well, I was just waiting for you to finish giving your amazing intro.
I know, it's hard.
I don't have anything to interject there. So I was gonna let
And we
take
also
it.
have our first guest in Nash today. And I'm very excited to have him here. Some great stories. Let's go. Give it up. I mean, no one's listening, but you're watching.
You better clap when you watch this later.
Yeah. I wish we had a live audience, man. Singer, songwriter, guitarist, hat maker, author, a literal man of many hats. Welcome, Matthew Paige, to the pod.
Thank you. It's an honor. It's a privilege. It's a pleasure to be here with you on episode 22, no less.
Hell yeah.
In the appropriate year. Yeah. And it's your first episode in Nashville, right?
Second. We filmed the first with him, introducing Kev as the new co-host.
Man.
But you're the first guest that we've had on.
So
Man.
it's the second episode
In Nash.
in Nashville
In
of
20.
the 22nd episode of the podcast in the year
Whoa.
2022.
2022.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, when we planned this out, so because February 2nd this year was a Tuesday. So it was 2/2/22 on
I know.
a Tuesday.
I dropped a song called Angel Numbers
I
on
know.
that day.
What?
If only we
Yeah.
planned out
Put a
an
link in
episode-
the bio with you.
SoundCloud.com/if-you-chance.
Yeah. Check it. You know it's good.
No, we're here to show love to you today, though. Not,
Well, thank you.
Not to us.
There's plenty of mutual love, though. Let it be known.
Hell yeah.
But we were just talking about how interesting it is to start welcoming people to Nashville. I guess that was. I hadn't thought of that until today. It's like I have welcomed people here now. Like I'll say, I guess if you've been there longer than someone else, is that when you can officially welcome them somewhere?
I would say so.
Is that the rule? Like if you go to Denny's before your friends meet you at Denny's, can you welcome them? Like welcome.
I think so.
Welcome to Denny's.
Say, like, if you're
That's
at a
why,
party and people are there before
We're
you.
going off like the Denny's theme where like all the waiters, whenever you get there, they say welcome to Denny's because they've been there for a while now.
Yes, they have. Yeah, they have an established residence. They haven't always been there, but they've been there long enough to welcome you there.
Exactly.
What?
Exactly. No. But you live here now, and you were just talking about how you're like, oh, I think I'm just gonna be here, and you're gonna be welcoming people. You got friends coming in already.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah.
For this next guest on the pod, too. But today, let's live in this moment.
Yes.
We got you on the pod.
Yeah, man.
Matt Paige of the band DeeOhGee.
That's right. Yeah, man. I've been here in Nashville for 12 years, 12 and a half almost. I left. I'm from Portland, Oregon, kind of. Around Portland, Oregon. I lived in Vancouver, Washington in my like high school years. I went to like art high school, and that's where I kind of like was encouraged or just like saw that people were going off and making art for a living, I guess, and saw that it was possible and saw bands kind of doing it. And, you know, that really feeds your appetite as like a young, budding, whatever, aspiring music person, I guess. So I was getting nurtured. I was playing classical violin and playing guitar. My dad was making me do all this, take lessons and be real disciplined and stuff. So I was like through middle school and high school, I was taking lessons and just studying, and like I wanted to hang out with my friends and stuff, but that wasn't part of the agenda, you know? Like, I don't know how your parents were, if they were super disciplinary or told you what you were going to do this weekend, you know? Like,
what?
it was like, hey, we're remodeling the kitchen this weekend,
Like,
and
what?
you're practicing every day. I'm like, what? What is this about? But I'm thankful.
Yeah, so you think that paid off in the long run?
Yeah, big time. As far as like just discipline, one, and also just like getting those skills into your head at a younger age. You know, I seriously took lessons and practiced focused hours every day for almost 6 or 7 years. And so that's like a lesson every week for 6 years, guitar lesson, a violin lesson, practicing every day, playing in the orchestra, playing in the school orchestra. So learning all this music and getting really versed in all kinds of classical music. And I hated it in a way because I loved playing the violin, but I hated how it was so, there was an answer to it. Like you could do it wrong. I hated that. I was like, man, and rock and roll over here, when I was learning about rock and roll or all the stuff, like these guys are, I'm from the Northwest and around the 90s ish. So like Kurt Cobain and all these guys are just like gnarly and whatever. And they're like feedback and breaking stuff. And everyone is like obsessed with them. Like, this is the greatest thing ever. I'm like, why is that great? And that's not wrong, but I'm doing my best to play, Bach, and I'm getting told that I suck because I'm not playing it exactly how it's written. So that was, I hated that feeling. So that was huge inspiration to why I came to Nashville too, which was like, I'm doing my thing. I'm addicted to doing whatever I want and not being wrong. I'm tired of being wrong. So
the same way, man. I really agree with that, especially because, I had to take theory classes in college, and I really didn't have much music experience growing up. So it's just like, I do more off instinct when I'm writing and singing and stuff like that, rather than like, oh, what is the, actual appropriate,
Right. But
correct
the what all the great dudes say is like, you learn the rules so that you can break them. So that's what it was cool about, like from, around 12 or whatever, I started learning like, okay, notes and like, oh, this note means this. And you do all that theory and you spend all that boring time, a lot of hours by yourself doing stupid scales to like get this into your brain so that when you do start freaking out and doing your own thing and pushing the boundaries of your mind in search of crazy art, you have this like foundation of like, oh, I know what these notes are and how things go. I know how that works. I may choose to acknowledge that or not. I may totally decide to forget that. But that was huge in inspiring me to go after music full time. It's like, I'm tired of being wrong, but I love the violin and classical music. It's, if you know anything about music and you see like someone strum a guitar and then you like hear an orchestra, like, oh my god, there's so much going on, and some dude or lady wrote it, like every piece there's all these lines, and it's just, I don't know, it's genius stuff. And
it's incredible.
That's wild.
Like how far we've come. Like now we're just like able to casually do a podcast like independently,
Even just think about like technology from like, Mozart's days. Like I always like think like, how much more would Mozart have done if he had like our like all like our whole information network, all our technology.
Right? Like when people wanted to hear music in his day, you had to go listen to it. There weren't recordings of it. There weren't pub bands playing cover versions of it. Like you had to go there and listen to it. And then it would just be the most epic shit ever with like 80 people on stage with choirs or choruses and 20 violins, 20 other violins, basses, cello, it's just, I don't know if you've ever been to a symphony or anything.
Oh, yeah, I have.
My God.
Oh, that's
and then when you're like in the middle of it, like playing in it, you're just like part of this tornado of sound, and like, oh yeah, well, this is really cool. Actually, I get it. Like, I get why everybody needs to work together, and there's a power in being part together. But I just didn't want to do that because little Asian kids were way better than me at the time. I was at the end of like, it was like 12-year-old kids that were just like amazing, like super talented at playing classical music and violin. I was like, I can't even keep up. My dad's idea was get good enough that you can get to college for free, right? That's the idea. You don't want debt, right? So that was his idea. I was like, I can't. I tried. I really tried. I went to community college for a little bit.
Really?
Couldn't afford that. But yeah, so I was out of high school by 17.
Damn.
That's just how timing. Whatever.
Yeah.
My birthday was a little early or whatever. And then, so I hung around 18. And then in my 19th year of being alive, my old art teacher told me about, he had told me about Nashville. He planted this idea of Nashville in my mind. Because I was like, do you go to LA? Do you go to New York? Where do you go? I don't know. I didn't want to be in Portland anymore. It just was not my vibe. So I just needed out. And I loved country music and blues in the South. My mom's from New Orleans, so I've been going to the South for my life. And I just always loved the humidity and heat. And I just like this. I loved it. I love it now. It's hot. It's finally getting hot here. Oh, yeah. And you just get like sticky, and I love it. You're moist. I feel like a salamander, man.
Oh my God.
And it feels great. Everything works better, especially your musician hands and your body when you're doing yoga and stuff. If you're just hot and wet, you're just flexible and you can play better and your body doesn't hurt. When you're cold, you get achy and stuff. And it's just like, it's real. Is it not real? You guys are from cold land.
Yeah.
Do you notice a difference between how your body feels in the hot?
I hate the fucking cold. And that's why I'm so happy to be away from it.
See, I love the cold.
You love the cold.
I grew up in a cold household. Like, my dad would keep our AC at like 64.
Ho!
And so I was always like the constant steady.
Sounds expensive. Wait, were you in a cold land? Are you from
I'm from like middle New Jersey.
That's a pretty cold place most of the time.
So like, yeah.
Yeah, 64.
Yes, in the winter, bro, I'm like, I need 70 at least.
Come on, give me a 70. Just make it start with a 7.
69 at least, come on.
Yeah, so I just grew up with that. So like anything over like, once it hits like 70, like I'm starting to sweat. Like I'm just not used to it yet.
Yeah. It took me, a couple years for sure of getting acclimated to the style. Because I was still dressing for Northwest Portland. You know, it was like, I was, like, polyester shirts and some denim jacket, too much clothes, pretty much, essentially. Like, it took me a few years to realize I need to wear less. This is not working. Just sweating and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Cowboy boots in the summertime with the leather just wet and rubbing up against your leg. It's not
terrible.
It is terrible, but we all had to learn. And I was just like eating bad and smoking cigarettes, and it was just gross hot. Like
when you first moved here, I want to hear more about like when you first moved.
Yeah, I played my first show. Speaking of numbers and whatnot, you're gonna love this. I played my first show at the End on September 9th, 2009, 9909. I was in a school bus that I had converted for my band, and I was trying to find a place to shower, and I don't know how, but I started conversing with the man who lives across the alley in an apartment right there, and he said that I could come over and shower at his apartment. Very nice guy. His name was Daryl. I'll never forget him. Never saw him again.
Shout out Daryl.
Thank you, Daryl. Wherever you are, if you're listening, really appreciate you. Miss you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. But he was very kind and let me shower in his house, and we talked, and he liked art, and he was into numerology. I had never heard of numerology in my entire life. And then he looks up my number, and there's different numbers that are based on different parts of your life, your birthday, when your name translated and whatever. But he translated my name into numbers, and then that boils down to your number. It's like, this is your life path number. This is you. And then you can look that number up it's like, astrology in a way, but it's all vibrations and numbers. And he told me I was a 9. He boiled my number down. So on 9909, I met a guy who told me about numerology and informed me that my number is 9. I looked it all up. It's totally right. I'm definitely a 9. And then it was the first day I had arrived in Nashville, and it was just like, here, what more answers do you need? And, and I just loved it. I spent like the next, day and a half, 2 days. I had a day off, and so I just wandered Nashville, did the Broadway thing, and JD Simo, shout out JD, was playing with Don Kelly. Don Kelly, shout out, at Roberts, and they're just both legendary musicians, and I just happened to have been there when they were playing, and it was just, I don't know, enough things went right like that to where it was a signal of like, yes, this is the right move do
Taking the
this.
sign from
Yeah,
the
like,
universe,
okay.
yeah.
I didn't need many signs. I needed almost nothing. You know, I wanted to
Yeah.
leave. Like, I was
You're
ready.
just making signs up.
I was ready to go. Right.
You could be, but fuck it.
I could have
That's
been.
what I say.
But the number thing was tripping me out, and I just loved Nashville so much. I was like, everything about it. It was still, Broadway was still, I caught a little last bit of taste of how Broadway was before it turned into Vegas.
I say.
And I played downtown quite a bit when I got to town at Layla's, when the bar door was on the other side. And it was just like, there's, chicken wire everywhere, and it was just scary. And across the street, I played with Phil. There was a rockabilly guy named Phil Hummer, and he only wanted one drum, just a snare drum and a cymbal. He didn't want any other drums. So I played drum for Phil Hummer.
I played drum.
Him and his wife, and he would shout out Phil, much love. He would just get belligerent on Busch Light and throw the greatest shows you've ever seen. And he is a brilliant songwriter. They moved to Maine since they cut town because they knew. But at the Full Moon Saloon, you could smoke inside. It was carpeted.
Oh, so
that's gotta be a
terrible.
disaster.
So just think about and so just go with that. A honky tonk where drinks are spilled regularly, and people coming in and out all day, on top of smoking and drinks. That was where we sat and played for 4 hours once a week, which we were always late. We always packed up early. He got fired a lot.
Wild times.
But it was like this, like, it was fun. It was like this trashy, but still like trying to be nice kind of place. I don't know.
This is on Broadway?
Yeah.
then?
Yes. Like, right? 2010. It still had its little bit of trace of sketchiness. You could park downtown.
Now it's like locked down.
Oh yeah, it's just.
They need to just make it like pedestrian only still.
Yeah, that'd be great. Shit. Yeah, make the whole thing pedestrian. But I still love our circus. It's a circus, but it's our circus,
Oh yeah. How else does it change or just Nashville as a whole? How has it changed since you've been here?
The drivers are a lot different. Everyone was really chill. As soon as I got to town, I noticed everybody had like something hanging off their car. Like everybody had run into each other at least once before. Like they're not good drivers. They're just not good drivers. You're sorry.
I've seen so many accidents.
You guys
It's
know it too.
ridiculous. Yes.
Don't be mad, Nashville. You know you're not that good at driving, even at the best of scenarios. But everyone's been like moving here from aggressive driving, LA and New York, and I don't know, they're calling good drivers, but they're like get there drivers, and so everyone's just like driving really fast now. It's crazy. It's like aggressive. The driving style has morphed. It is trickled in from elsewhere.
See, I think like part of the problem is like, so I know for like New Jersey, New York, everybody's like a bad driver, but they're a lot more aware of what's going on because everybody else is a bad driver.
Right.
So I feel like you have that, and then like people in the South, like Virginia, Tennessee, like Carolinas, they're bad drivers, but they're not like aware of their surroundings.
Which can be dangerous.
And then like the two mixing, then it just creates a lot more issues. And
Oof. Yeah. That actually, yeah, that's a
the
good.
thing,
That's the metamorphosis we're dealing with out there. You got to be careful.
the one thing though driving here that makes me the most mad is, so like left turn at a red light,
Yeah.
it's yellow.
Yeah.
I see so many people with Tennessee plates that'll they don't like inch forward and wait for it to
Oh, they
clear.
don't do the hang out in the middle of the thing and
they
do
don't
it?
do that.
No.
They just wait. It's yellow. Everybody's coming to stop. They're not going. They just sit there and wait.
Oh,
and the
no.
lights are so long. It's just like, I gotta wait another 5 minutes
Yes,
for this to change.
they are long. And when I moved to town, I was astonished at the running the yellow lights. If it was yellow, might as well have been green.
Yeah, for real.
Just send a few in after it's red. It's just go for it. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's changed a little bit. But there's so many places to like, so many cool things are popped up. There was only like 5 vintage shops or something when I moved to town, and now there's a lot. There's more record stores in a way, more record hawkers. A lot of food places have opened up. It's like a food town now. That's crazy.
So much.
I had an Uber ride from a guy, and he's like, I've been living here for 40 years, and when you wanted to go shopping or eat some food that was good, you had to go to Atlanta. That was the closest town where you were going to get, like, good food. We would go there to go shopping and to, like, go to dinner. Other than that, it's Bob Evans. Like, there's no good food. And now there's super fancy stuff all over town. It's so fancy. I don't know what we're trying to be fancy. They're so fancy
it's
here.
Modern at this point. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad. You can't fight it.
like the new food hall, Broadway. That shit is incredible.
It is. I haven't been to the African American Musicians Museum yet, but that's right on Broadway too.
Yeah, I want to check that out.
There's some great. I mean, Nashville is riddled with cool stuff that I think is cool. Just like not even country music stuff. Just like Jimi Hendrix lived here for a little while, so he just has his mojo across town. Etta James recorded her live album on Jefferson Street, and B.B. King and all. Memphis was right down the road. I just read a whole book about Memphis, and
Memphis is awesome.
Memphis has its whole own cosmos, and Nashville and Memphis have been exchanging mojo forever. And it's just crazy to come here from somewhere like Portland, Oregon, where there's just not there's a mojo here. There's a stank here, and it's got its goods and bads. But I just love the music that it's provided for the world and the energy, and it's beautiful. Like no one, when I thought about Tennessee, you have your preconceived notions about a place. Like, I didn't think of Tennessee as being rolling hills and beautiful, lush greenery and just like crazy amounts of nature and animals and wildlife and all these hippie, redneck mixture people who like getting into it. I'm like, all right. So I grew up going in the woods too. I was a Boy Scout. I am an Eagle Scout.
Oh, me too.
Fuck yeah, what's up? And so during those 6 years of taking lessons and everything, I was also going on camping trips and everything that goes along with Boy Scouting, a meeting every week, merit badge classes, Christmas tree pickups, parades, campouts of all kinds. We're in the Northwest, so that's a lot of rain and snow campouts, which are the worst thing ever. You're just wet all the time.
Uncomfortable.
I just got used to being cold and wet all the time.
Fucking rain. Makes me want to stay inside.
Oh, dude, I just remember like Boy Scouts just like they're like for summer camps and stuff, just sleeping out in the rain.
Yes.
And it was cathartic. It was incredible.
Yes. I reached definitely a few mental hurdles, when you're just like trying to sleep in a tent on the snow and you're like trying to go to sleep. Just imagine that. Like, I'm freezing. I'm fucking freezing. I might die. And that was how you spent your weekend as a 13-year-old, And then, or accidentally almost chopping off my finger. Because, we play with knives and fire. That's really the only draw to the Boy Scouts. It's like, oh, you get to shoot guns and play with knives and fire. And, okay. All right. I'll put on an outfit.
I just remember always doing like just the aerosol spray and lighters.
Oh yeah. Since it's always raining, we had to cook under shelters a lot of times. Yeah. So we were under a shelter, and I thought like, oh, I'll just burn the bacon fat from our bacon fat. I'll just burn off. I don't know. What do I know? Bacon grease is a huge fire. That it's the kind of fire that if you add more water, it like goes crazier. It's like it's a grease fire. You have to snuff it out. You can't just. So just imagine like I burned off all my eyebrows and I'm running out of this thing with like a flaming pan of bacon grease. That's the burning my hands. Remember, that's the Boy Scouts. Like
so we had one camp out and it was like Sabatas up in New York.
Okay.
And it was like one of those summer camps where you bring your own tents. There's no like because I had like the platform tents at all the camps. We didn't have that. It was bring all your own dishware, everything. There's no dining hall. It's like it's real camping.
Yeah.
And we were like,
i.e., we don't have nothing for you. Yeah. Bring your own stuff.
Yep.
BYOC.
But we were like, first or second year, so we were all like 12 or 13. And we're like, as our patrol, we're doing our own cooking and everything. And nobody cleaned up because we were all like, I don't want to clean up. So we all just left, went to go do something else. 2 bears come through the campsite. The adults take pictures of it. And then they just, afterwards, they like bring all the parents down. There's like a meeting. They're like, your kids are terrible. This is what they did.
That's the one. I didn't make bears. I didn't invent bears.
Oh,
man, I loved Boy Scout camp though. That was a fun time.
Awesome.
Come on.
Oh, I just remember too, like we're all like 12 or 13, and we have like somebody's like making spaghetti. They're making like 2 boxes.
Oh yeah.
And so,
Spaghetti.
But they thought like, okay, so you cook 1 box for like 8 to 10 minutes. If you put in another box, you cook it for an extra 8 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, of course.
So I think it ended up being like 3 boxes or whatever. Just had it in boiling water for like a half hour. Just inedible.
Nice and mushy.
Yeah, just mush.
Just drink the noodles. Oh my God, terrible Boy Scout cooking. Like, what was your patrol?
So we were the Black Cougars.
Nice. A Black Cougar. We were the Cobras.
Okay.
Let's go Cobras.
Purple Cobras.
Troop 320.
But
what was your troop
185.
number? 185. That's cool.
And then I just remember too, there's a camp out where my dad, like for the winter campouts, would he'd like volunteer just because like to keep an eye on like me and my brother. And one of the campouts, like it was probably like 2 feet of snow all over. It was like in a cabin, and there's like another group of Boy Scouts there that we got into like a snowball fight with. And then they threw an ice ball at one of us, and it just turned into a fist fight.
I was gonna say that means war right there.
Yeah,
Friday Night SmackDown. You guys want to have it? 2v2.
Yeah, patrol versus patrol fist fight.
Oh, that's great. That's right out of a movie.
I know. We go back tell my dad, who like my dad grew up like one of 5, played hockey, everything, like always getting in trouble, like always getting in fights and stuff. So we told him what happened. And he just goes, "Did you win?" And we're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "All right."
I see no problem here. That sounds good.
You all right?
Those are my boys. That's my boys. Man, shout out to dudes that are dads and Boy Scouts. That's a tough gig. Boys are dumb. And
people are dumb.
And just a big group, it was fun though. Looking back on it, I enjoyed it. Did you enjoy your time?
Oh, I did.
I did too. My dad forced me to do it for sure. My deal was he wouldn't let me get my driver's license till I got my Eagle.
Oh, see, my parents were never like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I cried when he told me that. As a 13-year-old. I was like... Because that just means I was like, okay. It's like 6 years of work. Like, no matter how you slice it, like, it's about 6 years of work, time, the way you have to time it out. And so when you're just daunted, like, here, child, oh, you wanted to drive in 3 years? That'll be 6 years. Like, oh, man.
I just remember, like, growing up, I did, like, classical piano lessons since, like, 2nd grade.
Yeah.
So my parents, though, they're always, like, the type to, we'll tell you what you need to do, but it's on you to actually go and do it.
Of course.
So, like, same thing with, like, Boy Scouts with getting Eagle. And I think it was, like, probably right before the month before my 17th birthday, I was like, I think I can get Eagle. So I did about, like, before my 18th birthday, I did about 6 or 7 of the Eagle merit badges within the week before my 18th birthday when I aged out.
What?
And I just by the skin of my teeth.
They let you do that? That's awesome. No, I got mine 2 weeks before I turned 18 too. So it's like working so hard and scheduling so much to get done like 2 weeks before you turn 18, like 6 years of work. I don't know. It was just,
it was crazy.
It's so much work. But a huge part of my life. And now I know a bunch of knots and how to start fires with sticks. So pretty pumped about that.
I mean, if you're ever in a situation,
Survival.
Yeah.
It's true. It's coming handy. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, life on the road and shit, man. I want to talk more about music, the band.
For sure, yeah. So I came to
DeeOhGee.
Nashville and started a band. I put out an ad on Craigslist. I didn't know anybody. I was only 19, so I couldn't go to bars to hang out. So I was looking for like blues jams and stuff to go hang out, or just to do anything, to meet anybody. I needed a drummer or other musicians. I wanted to start a band and do it. So I put an ad on Craigslist, and 2 dudes responded, one of which was Zach Murphy, the guy who I've been in a band with for the past 12 years. Shout out ZM. I'm sure he'll be on the show eventually. And he came over and we started jamming, just drums and guitar. And it's like, all right, that's good. You want to... It's like I proposed to him, like, do you want to do this? Do you want to be in a band with me and give it everything and ruin your life otherwise to go after this thing? And he's like, yeah. And so that's how I met him. And he's from Nashville, so he had friends here. He knew the cool places to go and how to blah, blah, blah. He gave me a lot of direction, was very kind, and knew that I was just this whatever child in Nashville just trying to do whatever. And so we were named the Blackfoot Gypsies then, which I named after driving here. You pass through Blackfoot territory. And I guess it got implanted in my mind. And in the Northwest, Native American stuff is integrated in all the names of things and the artwork. It's just like Native American stuff around all the time, everywhere, which is like beautiful. And totem poles and the streets, the river, the Willamette. It's Sacagawea. It's the land of Native American stuff, as is here, but obviously different names. Anyway, driving here, I guess it got implanted in my mind, and so I had Blackfoot in my mind, and then I had Gypsies because my violin teacher was Hungarian and super Eastern European. He had Hungarian accent, and he didn't like the way the Suzuki method of violin or the classical. He thought that was very stupid. It was stupid. It doesn't make any sense. So he was like bitter, and angry at music, but also loved it and was so beautiful. And he talked about the Gypsies who would like play this kind of music. And he told me he was teaching me how not to do it, but he could tell that he was really good at it. And he would just like play this kind of like Jewish, Eastern, Russian, almost, Hungarian sounding music and the gypsy music. And so I had gypsies in my mind too, and, them wandering people. And so I named it after that, those 2 things. And I didn't know how offensive it was to some people who took those words in an offensive way. So we toured around as that for like 10 years, like in a shitty van, which eventually got a better van, but 2-person band, just like going for it. The White Stripes and the Black Keys were really popular at the time, so it was pretty acceptable. I mean, it still is to be a 2-person band. So it was just
there's like proof that like a 2-person band like could be successful and work. And
yeah, and Jack White had moved here, so that was also just a little bit before I moved here, and so that was another like, oh, okay, this guy who as far as the influences, like I'm on the same page as Jack for sure. It's just like old blues, country music, like roots, real American, when they started recording musicians' music, like early stuff, like that's the roots of it. And so I always liked that about him. So just having him here too is just like, all right, cool. There's like an infrastructure of some alternative cool stuff going on here. So that was 10 years. We went everywhere. We got hooked up. We got to do 2 tours of Europe. That was pretty cool. And that Dylan moved to town. He's been in the band. He plays bass. He moved to town 8 or 9 years ago, which he recently moved away to Lexington, Kentucky. Also a great place. But yeah.
How far is that from here?
200 miles, about a 3-hour drive.
Damn.
Up and over. Yeah. It's a great place. It's a beautiful drive too. I love Lexington. I mean, I spend time there when I have time off. Like our manager lives there, and they have a nice house we can just stay at. And they're very nice and just let us hang out. Have you ever been to Lexington, Kentucky? It's It's a cool little town. It's like a college and horses. It's like horse racing and a college.
Never been.
So,
is Churchill Downs Lexington or is that Louisville?
I believe that's Louisville.
Louisville.
First time I played Louisville, I went to a music store. I'm like, oh yeah, it's my first time playing Louisville, and he's like, it's Louisville. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like, what is that? What is Louisville? Like, the less syllables, the better. Just Louisville.
It's like all like the English towns, right? It's like Leicester instead of like Leicester.
Right. Yeah. What's going on up there? Who's naming that shit?
Like, Boston, like you have like
Worcester,
Gloucester.
Worcestershire sauce. Who's naming this?
Worcester.
Worcester. Oh my god, that Boston accent is so crazy. My dad is from Massachusetts.
Oh really?
Rest in peace. God rest his soul. But he was from Lynn, Massachusetts, and also in Boston. He went to Boston Latin School. So my whole life, he also, via Texas and Colorado, his accent growing up, like he would turn it on sometimes. Like I didn't know. It's just how my dad talked. And every once in a while, someone would be like, "Are you from Massachusetts?" And he's like, "Yeah," and then he'd like flip it on real quick, and like, "What the?
You fucking kidding me?"
Well, yeah. Like what? That's just in you. That's how you talk. What is this? Because Oregon has the anti-accent. They have no accent. It's the most vanilla speaking land. It's boring. I don't know if you could just remove all the fun parts of speaking. That's what's left in Oregon. They say nothing fun. Sorry. No offense, Oregon. But y'all talk boring. Like in New York, they got the thing. In Texas, they got the thing.
How do you feel about when people say Oregon?
I love it. I love it. I say it now. Like, oh, Oregon?
I mean, it's G-O-N.
Oregon.
It's not G-A-N.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my God. I don't care, and I love it.
Just curious.
Yeah, no, I say Oregon now, just for anybody that does like saying it properly. Might it's actually pronounced. Very interesting. That is interesting.
Man,
but I'm about to go back to Oregon. Honestly, my family still lives there. I got a mom and a sister there, and some nephews. My sister had some babies. So shout out to Emmerich and Levin. Gonna see them soon. They're 1 and 2, and I'm infiltrating them with music and instruments. I'm giving him some harmonicas. I sent him a guitar for his Christmas present, and yeah.
Get that like a nice little recorder.
Oh yeah, I gotta get him a recorder. Yeah.
Sure, the parents will love that.
I know. I'm like, sorry, Lauren. This is part of the deal. This is part of the deal, man.
How long are you going back there for?
About a week, just about a week. I like to go back over Mother's Day because they're both mothers now, and the Levin's birthday is right about this time, so I'll be there for that. And yeah, I love it there still. It's beautiful. If you ever get the chance to go out there, highly recommend. It's a great place. I love visiting. It's beautiful. In the winter, it's really gray and really rainy and really depressing. It's depressing after day like 36 of just gray rain. That's when it's like,
this has got to stop.
I don't want this anymore. Because you just want to stay in bed, read a book, do nothing. I canceled a lot of plans, man. Nah, I'm under my covers, and
it's gonna be a no for me, dog.
I'm gonna have to. I'm just gonna stay in my bed. But yeah, no, it's seriously, winter is like 40 straight days of gray rain. It doesn't really snow too much there, but just gray and rain. So if that explains grunge at all, to where that came from, it kind of makes sense. But definitely go visit if you can. Go to Portland.
Is it anything like the show Portlandia?
It's exactly like the show Portlandia. Fred nailed it. Fred and Carrie, did a great job. Because some of it's a little loose, whatever, but yeah, yes.
Okay.
Yep. 100%.
Let's just talk more about what that first album that you've recorded 3 albums as the Blackfoot Gypsies that were released.
Yep.
What was it like recording that first album On the Loose, which was released in 2012?
Yeah, that was really cool. I recorded it at the Bomb Shelter in East Nashville with Andrea Tokic. And the Bomb Shelter is really famous, popular, cool studio now. And it was in his house. It was back when he was in his house. And he recorded people like some local legends in town like Jacob Jones and Caitlin Rose, and I was so excited to record there because all these people that I admired would record there. And so these are songs that I had, and this is the first thing we did. I played pretty much everything. Zach did the drums and the percussion on everything, but like all the bass and all the extra stuff is all me. It's expensive, and we wanted to do it to tape. He has a 24-track 2-inch tape machine, so you want to do things quick, right? And now with computers, whatever, if you want to redo a take, it's click, go ahead, click, go ahead, do another take. But when you're doing a take on tape, you're like, dang, I messed up. It's like, okay, you have to rewind it back to wherever it is you need to be. So you have these moments of like reflection time. It's not instant. You actually have to wait.
You have like a minute to just think about the next take.
And so that does take up more time, but it was consciously something that we were discussing about. And it's like, it's a different vibe. And you only have, you'll wear out the tape. You only have so many shots at it, really. So before it starts warping or getting weird. So you're actually working within the confines of this medium. We didn't turn on a computer for the recording of that album, which was like, that was my proud moment. Like all the tracking, everything, there was not a computer on. There's some like backwards sounding stuff too. So you have to take the reels of tape off and play it backwards and record it onto something else and then put it, just all these like old techniques that aren't used anymore for good reason. They're a pain in the butt, and now computers do it way better and easier. But I think we did that one in just a few days because recording time is expensive. And at that exact same time, this band called the Alabama Shakes were recording an album, their first album there. And I went over there to like do our last mix with him, and like, what else have you been recording? And then he plays me one of their songs, and it was like Hold On or something like this. It turned out to be a huge hit, and Alabama Shakes are crazy famous, and they went and it was at that same time, and we played a show with them in Birmingham, Alabama to, like 13 people or something. And it was just, that was really cool that was hugely inspiring to see that a band just like us could do it. And Brittany Howard is still on top of the world doing her thing. And that was really, really, really cool. But that was the first album. And then we got it pressed on vinyl, on the cheapest vinyl you can get, which is that repurposed kind. It's like they take all the scraps of all the old plastic and repress it so it comes out whatever color that is. Yeah. Oh man, we ordered 1,000 of them, and they took up the whole wall, like the boxes of 1,000 records. So it's just like, I guess I'll just store these in my house. Just have boxes of records. Like, what are you gonna do? And so, yeah, we had those for almost all 10 years of the Blackfoot Gypsies, selling those on the road. We spray painted the covers. We made a stencil out of a water bed. Like the plastic from a water bed is what I made this stencil from. Cut out the letters Blackfoot Gypsies on the loose, and spray painted gold on the covers for whatever, at least 500 of them.
Sick.
And so all those first pressings out there it'll stick to your other records in your bin because it's paint. Like, some gobs of it'll just like, oops. They would stick together and like getting all high on the fumes. It was weird early days, man. Everything was just DIY.
Yeah.
The answer was yes. Like we're gonna do it. Like I'm not waiting for anybody to say go, because no one's gonna say go. No one cares. In a nice way. You got to just show up. You have to care. You know what I mean? Super self-driven. Still try to be, That's because because Nashville has so many people. Like every day, there's more people moving here trying to get the same things that you're trying to get. And I believe in abundance now. I've let go of the it's got to be mine thing, you know, like get out of the way. Like, no, I feel like the more you give now, the more I get, you know, there's enough gigs, there's enough money, there's enough fans, there's enough places to go. Like, okay, let's share it. Let's make more of it. There's more to be had. So, but that's not always the opinion here. You know, a lot of people are hungry for themselves. But of all places I've been, as far as music communities go, this is the best one I've ever been a part of for sure. And I think we were talking about it last time we visited. Was that like this is I feel like the closest to like a skateboard community where people are stoked when you land a trick. You know, like I love that sport for that reason. That being one of the reasons, but like when someone else lands a super dope trick, everybody else is like, that was awesome. And they applaud you. And I feel like that's here, you know, other people are, they're pumped when, I know I'm pumped when my friends get cool gigs, you know. We used to play with Margot Price and Buffalo Clover when we were just playing at the 5 spot, you know, whatever, 50, 60 people might show up, and Margot's done it. Like, she's such an inspiration to me as far as trajectory and like sticking to your guns and like doing your thing, saying what you want to say. She's a woman, a badass woman in this fucked up, misogynist, all male driven, kind of just really backwards industry in a lot of ways. And she's just like, fuck you to everybody who didn't help her or said shit about her. And she still got there, being cool as fuck, like her own style. And she's still killing it. And she's like best friends with Willie Nelson and Bob Weir. And she's like going on tour with Grateful Dead and just doing it. And I'm getting to watch people really explode and go to that next level. It's just so inspiring. I don't know. It just proves that it can be done. I think that's what keeps people going
even
after it.
On the level of like me to you, you've lived here for 12 years and I just moved here. I guess we could talk about how we met as well.
For sure.
We met 2 years ago, a little over that, when I was studying down here. It was like the first weekend I was here. I went to, you were playing at 3rd and Lindsley at that like radio lunch show that they do.
Yeah. And you who are you working for? It was
14-inch Fringe.
That's
Shout out
right.
Mark and Shyla, the goats.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, so I met you at that show, and then you had a show later that night at the DeeOhGee basement, and I went to that too.
That's right. I think that was what year was that?
2020, right before the pandemic.
Right.
Literally like a few months before
Wow.
everything went to shit.
Wow.
But like what we were saying, like being able to have those conversations with you and seeing you doing your thing and just supporting yourself as an independent artist shows me this can be done. Like why did you ever not believe in yourself? Because every time I've started to believe in myself and now I'm more confident than I have been in recent years, it's like, why the fuck would I stop?
Yeah. Well, I guess depending on where you come from and what you're exposed to, there is no roadmap. There is no path that's just laid out of like, oh, this is what you do to be successful in music. You know, like there's different ways to do it. So I guess to go on that question of like, why would I ever doubt myself? I'll just lean into it, go for it. Which I guess we inevitably did. We're here we are, leaning, going. Here we are,
living.
I mean,
feeling alive.
I'm feeling very alive.
Hey.
I mean, I get to go play shows, 3 of them in a row this weekend. Like I'm living proof. Here it is. And obviously, I've set my own standards and my own goals, and I'm happy. Like, I want to get better gigs, and I'm always trying to kind of go in that way. But man, I've gotten to go a lot of places and play a lot of gigs and see a lot of places and hang out in weird streets and eat a lot of food and meet people. And, you know, it's like music has been just the biggest blessing. Excuse me.
Feel you.
No, it really has been. But there's no way to do it. It seems like a mystery. Like when you go see a band when you're like 12 or you hear about a show and you go see a band, like, where did you come from? How did you do this? Because all you know is school and your parents' house, and like, what else is there? Like, how do you you bought a van and then you just started playing shows and you sell t-shirts. Where do you get t-shirts made? How do you get a shirt made? What's a JPEG? I need promo shots. I have to make CDs now. I have to change the oil in this van. I had to. I'm sorry. What? How much is a van? How much is a radiator? And just well, and this will segue over to why I wrote the book. It was there were no answers anywhere. Like there kind of are. I guess you hear whatever VH1 behind the music and you hear some shit. I guess, but no one talks about how they got there. They're just like I mean it's not common knowledge. I guess you have to dig into someone's story to like see how. But that jump from I'm living at my parents' house, I have no money, I have nowhere to go, I just know I love rocking out in my room with my guitar. Like that's okay. Where do you go with that? There is no answer. So I wrote this book. And it pertains, and I kind of pulled from Boy Scouts in a way, but it's sort of like it's not very thick. It's more of a manual. I don't know.
I read it in like one day when you gave it to me.
It's not
just because it was interesting.
It's not a long read, and I was trying not to make it a long read. It was sort of just like, this is what being in a band is like. These are some things you might want to look out for. These are some things that I've learned, and these are the ways that I learned them, and I'll probably write another one in another 10 years, but I don't know. No one had... So mixing like Boy Scout ideas of like survival, like being in a band led me to a healthier lifestyle for sure. Like I need to survive. My priority is music. My priority is playing and touring and being good, showing up and giving the best I can. So that means you got to eat good. You have to sleep. You have to treat your body well. You have to rest. You have to do a lot of stuff that you don't normally associate with, being a musician or a rock and roll person or an anything person, Usually you think like, oh, excess, alcohol, drugs, crazy stuff. Like that's what you do. And a lot of people do that. And with great success, I applaud them. But I had to stop drinking just to like, save my voice and to save my immune system, because I was like, we still do. We'll sleep at a friend's house over a hotel if we have a friend's house to stay at. So sometimes you sleep on a floor or on a couch, and you're sharing microphones at dirty rock and roll clubs. Like you are just gonna get sick. Like it's just a perfect recipe for getting sick. So staying healthy was the only way to survive longer than like 3 or 4 days on the road. And I wanted to survive longer than 3 or 4 days on the road. So within the book, I talk about like good things to eat or like good things you can get at a Love's truck stop that won't make you feel bad, or good things to bring with you on the road that you like tea or ginger, just these simple things. And yeah, it's a quick read. And I just thought I was reading Anthony Bourdain's Kitchen Confidential too. I don't know if you've ever read his book, his first book that he wrote for his kitchen buddies. Like he wrote, like not thinking, he was still a chef or a cook. He calls himself a cook. And he just writes all these stories about living the fucking cooking life. What happens, everybody's on drugs, everyone's smoking and working way too long. Like it's tough. It's a beautiful book, and he just wrote it for his cooking friends, and that's why I really wrote this, was for my band friends. It's like, hey, I'm watching a lot of you guys drink PBR every day and smoke Marlboros, and I love you, so maybe think about not doing that. Please. But that was part of my inspiration.
What's the book called?
It's called BandLife. Tips on how to survive life in a band and other lives too.
By Matthew Paige.
By Matthew Paige. It's available on eBay. I'll send you a copy. I have a few copies left in my house. But yeah, it's just a few chapters. It's a good read.
It is. I enjoyed reading it.
Yeah.
I need to read it again.
I was just leaving it in green rooms across the country. I was like, some band member will pick this up and
get something out of it.
Maybe. I don't know. It was fun too. Like writing something like you write songs and you write lyrics, but to like, and that's as far as I'd written, like maybe a long paper for school, but to go that distance with like, chapters of like as much as you can write about of this, multiple chapters, tying them together, getting a flow in a book, like long, like it was only like 95 pages or something. And so just that whole art form of like writing a book was crazy. The first batch was like 3 days. I locked myself in a room for 3 days. A house, it was like that room and this room, and just wrote for 3 days after I had collected notes on each subject. And then just a year of like editing. My mom was a court reporter, so she was really good at English. She's great at the English language and how it's written. So like, all right, I got a built-in editor. Thanks, Mom.
Shout out, Mom.
Thank you, Mom. Yeah. But yeah, I'll write another one eventually. It's fun. I highly suggest it if you ever want to let your mind roll.
Man, once I gather maybe some more experiences, I need to start journaling. That's something I want to do just because, having that belief in like, well, if I know where I'm going, then why don't you document everything that fucking happens until that happens, And that's what I'm kind of doing with the music, the podcast, and just being more consistent with at least like putting something out once a week, but I want to be doing that every day and make sure every day like just growing and getting better as a person because I still have a long way to go. I still am not the best at taking care of myself and shit. I'm young as fuck and wilding out.
No, dude. And consistency is the name of the game. And I try to remain judge free on all that. I'm not saying that my way is the right way. That's why I called it tips, not tips for surviving, not the motherfucking answer. So I was just like, I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad, but I just wanted.
No, it was definitely a great book with great tips and great stories and of life on the road. Definitely highly recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have your own adventures, and everybody learns on their own style. And I don't know, it's you're gonna have your whole own batch of adventures, and that's the fun part, the journey, right? This is the destination. Whatever, you're dead then, But like, this is it, like right now. This is it.
Endless enjoyment. Eep, beep, beep, gang. We on the pod ski. Just chilling in Nashville, Tennessee, having a great conversation.
Loving it.
Kev, you kind of quiet over there. What's up?
Well, I'm just listening.
I know, he's soaking up some information.
And like
trying to get it all out of my brain because it's
awesome. Like hearing 12 years worth. I mean, more than that. I mean, you're giving us some backstory, but still, it's been a trip, man. I'm sure.
Yeah, and it just keeps going. I don't know. I'm addicted to the adventure. It's literally like a go out of your house and see what happens every time you go on tour. Because as soon as you leave your house, stuff starts happening. With this synchronicity and like numbers and stuff like that, that happens all the time out there. You run into people that are just like, why did we meet? Like, you're throwing yourself into the most opportunities of like magic coincidences to happen. Like when you're on the road, you're every stop you're at someplace new. Every place you eat is someplace new. Every gas station is maybe you've been there before, but every time you get out of the car, it's just this fresh palette of some crazy shit that might happen. And that's exhausting and also really fun,
Oh, yeah.
I get worn down on the road. I don't sleep on the road, so I have to like, what the pandemic taught me was like, I need rest. And I need to like, after like 2 weeks of touring or like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 days without getting some sleep. And we don't always get our own beds. So we have to like, share beds a lot of times and sleep in weird places sometimes to make money stretch. Cause that's how band life is sometimes. And I just don't sleep. So I'm up for like days and then you just start suffering. So if you want your art to be good, figuring out how to sleep is a solid plan.
Yeah, my sleep schedule's fucked, dude. Especially working all these shows, too.
Oh, yeah.
It's late night. Like, we're eating at, like, dinner at, like, 12 o'clock.
Yeah, what time do you get off work at these shows?
Like, anywhere between, like, 11 to 12:30.
Yeah, that's what I'd say.
But then, like, we're wired. So
yeah.
we're just up for, like, the next, like, few
Yeah, I'm up till
hours.
3 in the morning at least. Like,
Yeah.
Like, the past couple of days, I've been like going to bed like 2 or 3, waking up at like 7.
Yeah.
Because I'm just trying to get back to that schedule.
Give into it.
See, I won't get out of bed till like 11 noon. It's like,
Well, the thing too is like, so my dad works and he goes to work at like 5:30 in the morning, owns his own business and all that. But he'll call me at like 7 o'clock in New Jersey just to talk because he's been up for like an hour and a half already.
6 o'clock.
So 6 o'clock here. So I'm just getting a phone call. I'm like,
hello.
Like 2 hours of sleep.
Can you please not? Wow. No, that's tough. The bars close at like the bands that I played downtown for quite a while, and those gigs go from, if you do the 10 to 2, they usually want you to go to 10 to 2:30. The last the close crowd. So you play your last note at 2:30. You pack up, get your money counted. You're not walking out of the door till 3. You get home 3:30 or whatever, and you're just like, I'm awake. Like the birds are chirping, the sun's kind of coming up. Like, okay.
I'm a night owl though. I love being up at night, but it's like, I don't know. I need a better sleep schedule.
As long as you sleep, that's the answer. My he's still kicking. 98-year-old grandpa. Like he just speaks in pearls of wisdom. That's how he speaks now. Like all he says is just one-liners of wisdom, and it's like sleep is the magic wand. You need sleep. Sleep as much as you can. Like, okay, sure. I'll listen to that.
It's true. Rest and recovery are huge.
It's true. I mean, but I did most of my 20s of like probably up until 26, 27 of like just whatever. Yeah, whatever. All the food, all the drink, all the everything. And then I just stopped eating meat and stopped drinking. And within like a year of each other. And that's just a different phase. But when you go to Spain, and we toured Europe, and when you go to Spain and France and Germany, you got to eat meat, man. You got to try this stuff. This is crazy. They got great wine, great meat. All they eat is meat. Vegetarians are like not a thing over there. Like if you order a vegetarian meal in Spain, it will come with fish on it. Like that's their vegetarian. Like that's not meat. That's just fish. Like, okay. Okay. But yeah, my first tour over there, I ate meat and I drank, and so it was fantastic. The wine and the water are the same price. If you sit down to have dinner, they don't just bring you water. You have to buy some, and it's a big bottle, 3 liters, and that is like €3. Table wine, which is very good in Spain and France, just the whatever wine, €3. Same price.
We get one of each.
Yeah, I'll take, yeah. It's lunch. Let's have some. And like the truck stops have like 3-course meal. Like a lot of them have like 3-course restaurants, and it's not like fancy. It's like €10, 3-course meal with wine and water and bread, salad, food, dessert. I like nowhere truck stops in Spain. It's awesome. Anyway, the second time we toured, I had been a vegetarian and stopped drinking, I think. But luckily, The Darkness, that band we toured with, their singer is a vegan, so he had vegan catering the whole time, which sometimes is you tour with a band that like brings their own chef with them, and makes food for everybody there. And so we had at least one great vegan meal every day for free, which is a very big deal to American bands touring in Europe. Like that's a shoestring. When you see an opening band for like a big band, it's a miracle that they got there. Usually, like they might be losing money being there. Like even the big bands, like the ones opening for the Who or whatever, like in stadiums and stuff, they might be making $500 a night. Serious. That's what we were making. €500, £500 a night, opening for The Darkness.
Was that when Roger Taylor's son was drumming?
He still is. Yes. Rufus. Shout out. Rufus Tiger Taylor. Great guys. They were super nice to us. No, all love to them. But their budget for an opening band was 500. It was euro in England and £500, which was a little bit more in England. So we're playing in front of 2,000, 3,000 people every night at €20 a ticket. You do the math. And we get $500 for the four of us, 4 band members, a sound lady, and a tour manager, driver, merch guy in one van, touring in these tiny little hotel rooms, eating whatever for $500. I mean, it was we made it work, baby. We made it work. I'm not gonna say that we went home with money or not, but we did it. So yeah, so anytime you see one of those opening bands, just tip your hat knowing that it's kind of a miracle that they even got there, you know.
Even for like international bands, because I remember reading like a few weeks ago about like an up and coming like indie artist in like London. I forget their name, but they came out and said that like financially I can't do a tour in the US because of how many people I need to bring, all the travel, everything. I just wouldn't. It'd be such a hit that it's not even a question. It's just like it's a sad state.
Yeah, that was exactly us. The shows, the payment of the show, paid for, getting there and like every day. We would break even, like come home with zero. If we just took the payment from the show, so every penny that we made was from selling T-shirts and records. So it's all merchandise. Yep. Which so when you start doing. You're thinking about it, like, I'm just a traveling T-shirt salesman. Like, I'm a really loud, musically themed T-shirt sales. Like, because, like, all your money, like...
I just play music to get people interested in my T-shirt.
Yeah, it's a... Yeah, get yours at the link in the bio. Yeah.
I need to open up a shop. I got a website right
Get your Shopify on it. You got to put
that...
Bandcamp.
No, we have a Squarespace website, and there's a shop widget in there built in. Zach is great at making websites as well. If you ever need a website built, Zach Murphy will help you out.
Good to know. The DeeOhGee website.
But we run all our own merchandise and stuff. You know, I get the design, I order it, and we keep it in a storage container and we ship it ourselves. It's just like that's the only way to make money. Like the shows make like the traveling and the eating happen. But if anybody's going to pay their rent at the end of the day, that's got to pretty much come from merchandise, which is not, I mean, no shame in it. You got to play the game. You got to get paid. Another one of my grandfather's wisdoms is there's 2 things in life that you need: air and money. Like, okay. Need. Like, okay.
True, you gotta spend it to make it.
It's true, but no shame in, you know, making it work. You just gotta do whatever you gotta do. And as long as you're having fun, that's the magic. You gotta be having fun. And that's like the journey. As long as you know you're having a good time. What else? You're
thinking about creating a better future for yourself, and, you know, trying.
Yeah. I mean, plan for tomorrow, but you never know when it's gonna be gone. You know, I've lost so many friends and relatives. It's like, man, life is over so quick. So, yeah, be ready for the future, but, you know,
enjoy while we're here.
Enjoy this right now. Amen.
Hell yeah.
And plan for tomorrow, but, you know, you never might get there. I'm just saying, gotta have a great day today. Gotta do it.
Oh yeah.
Which is a great. You're that way, and I much respect. You're like, I'm just pumped to be here. I'm living currently living the dream. Like that's the shirt. Like this
yes,
motherfucker.
Sir.
This guy's living the dream. And it may not look like it. I don't know. I don't really care what other people.
I get in my head a lot sometimes, where it's like just anxiety and worrying about the future and shit, and then it just like start meditating, just like ground myself to the present moment and just be like, just fucking enjoy it, dude. Do something fun.
Yeah. And this pandemic has been great for like reestablishing that in everybody's minds. That's like, oh, people are super thankful for art and music right now and everything. I think hopefully that gratitude goes longer than just another year or so. But the past shows we've been playing, people are pumped. They're like, thank you for coming. Thank you. We love music.
I never want those nights to end, though.
I feel like especially like in like the more Midwestern areas where, like, you know, being from like Boston, New Jersey, like New York, there's shows all the time. Like artists are constantly going out there, but I like for tour posters stuff. Like I never see anybody going to like Dakota.
We just went to Iowa.
Yeah.
We went to 2 towns in Iowa we'd never been to, and you know, the people that came out were very thankful. Super pumped that we were there. Not a lot going on in Sioux City.
Yeah.
Not a lot going on in Dubuque. Shout out to Dubuque. Great town. Great people. Love it. Big fan, actually. But yeah, and everybody's coming out of their shell at different times. So I'm not like judging ourselves on like success-wise. Like if we're playing in a room with 20 people, okay, great. 9 people, great. Whatever. I don't care. Like let's have a show. Let's have fun.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. And every town's different. You know, on our tours, we'll go from playing to 100 people, 200 people in one town to, yeah, literally like 9 in Sioux City, Iowa.
So what was that tour like? At the end of April, you went on like a 10-day tour. You did 9 shows with only 1 day off.
Yes. And that's like Europe touring. When you're in Europe, you play every day. Like on our 7-week tour, I think we had 3 or 4 days off in like 7 weeks. Anyway, that's over there. But so playing every night.
Yeah, where were you going on that tour?
The
one you just did.
Yeah. We went up through. We started on 420 in Lexington, which is our second home base, and then Urbana, Illinois, Chicago. We love Chicago. And then we went over to Winona, Minnesota, small town, a little island in the middle of the Mississippi River, up in Minnesota. Really great place. Had a great time, I must say. St. Paul, we played, and we had played St. Paul a while ago, but never by ourselves. We had opened for Margot there, and that was cool. We played at a legendary club, and then we headed out to Sioux City, Iowa. I got a speeding ticket between Sioux City and Dubuque because it was like 4 hours of just straight, flat, like slightly rolling cornfields, and I just I got it going a little fast. I wanted the cornfields to be over. So I've been getting a few speeding tickets recently. I gotta chill out.
Damn.
But yeah, then the Iowa, and then we came back and we did 2 parties at the end. One was a backyard party in St. Louis. And it was just like this guy and all his friends. He throws parties in this backyard, and he invites all his friends. So we played to like 75, 80 people just outside. Beautiful St. Louis night.
How did that come together? Like, you reaching out to your management? Or?
I think, well, we have a booking agent, thank God, which is the hardest job in the music industry. I mean, that is the toughest. That's a full-time email job. You're inquiring, booking, timing, scheduling, trying to get runs together. So thank you, Lee. For being our booking agent. And
Odyssey touring?
Correct.
I think I met him with Mark we went to the show at Basement East like the first week I was here, and I met Lee. So shout out him.
Shout out, man. Very thankful for him. He does a great job.
We should get him on the pod.
Yeah.
His contact information.
Yeah.
I think I talked to him about.
Because I want to be a booking agent.
You definitely would be able to get some inspo from him, man. He's a great guy. And yeah, he's been keeping us busy with some really good gigs, and we just want to we want to play all the time. We want to travel.
While you're young.
Yeah, like let's go do it. Shit, I can only load amps for so many years, so let's go. I mean, I haven't waited for anything. Like, maybe to my detriment, maybe I should have. A lot of people will wait till it's like perfect. You know, they'll craft the perfect thing, and then take it on the road. Where I was like, whatever, does it roll? Let's go. Like, let's go play any show anywhere. Let's go. I just needed to go live and go see things.
So how was that backyard party?
It was great. It was all like, adults. I'll call them adults. And so we played some. They liked. We kind of like, we're like kind of a classic rock band, I guess, in a way, And so they liked our sound. We played some AC/DC, and they totally dug it. It was Willie Nelson's birthday the day before, so I played some Willie Nelson, and they were like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yes, my people, my people." And then we played a birthday party. It was going to be the next night in Morehead, Kentucky, small town Kentucky. You guys will love this. It was for a friend's birthday party. They were going to have it outside, but they didn't know weather-wise if it was going to rain or not. And so they moved it into the community center. Now imagine your 5th grade classroom. Go there with me. Fluorescent lighting. Take all the art or whatever fun stuff was in there, make it a little bigger. Maybe the cafeteria.
Okay.
Nope. All right. That's where we played this birthday party. Like God bless them, that's the only venue they had around available to be inside. And so we just played this birthday party. We just brought our own PA. We set up in the corner, like just set up in this like felt like classroom, and played this birthday party for like 2 hours, and people just watching us play. And it was a unique experience, my friends. The uniqueness doesn't stop. Like it just keeps throwing weirdness at us. Which again, like I reiterate, it's the adventure, man. Talk about living in the moment, being on tour, being on the road. It's like, whoa, this is nuts all the time.
In the cut.
Yeah, because every person you meet might be like someone, and you're meeting people all the time. Everyone is someone.
Oh yeah,
that's what you learn.
Like I remember, like a week ago, we were at Rippy's because two of my friends play in a bar or play in a band, Kelly Daniels, at all, like a bunch of the bars on Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just, went to go see them. And at one of the tables, like in Rippy's, was like the production managers and like arrangers for Mamma Mia on Broadway, like on their honeymoon.
Oh.
So I was
they're just around.
Yeah, they're just.
They got her on stage,
yeah,
dude. She was singing a song.
Yeah, they got her like on stage for "Sweet Child of Mine," and then they brought the husband up to play drums for Folsom Prison Blues, and he held it down like all right, but he's like he's like in the bag.
He was trying.
And he had no headphones, hasn't played like drums in a while, and. Doesn't know the song.
Don't judge me.
Yeah, like doesn't know the song, and they're like, "No, just go play."
Yeah, get up there. Go do. Everybody knows Folsom Prison Blues. Come on.
I do not.
I mean that's. I mean Nashville has magic moments, man. That stuff does happen here all the time.
For sure. Even met a friend of mine now through a friend of mine here, and we started recording some music together, and just like. We're hyped just to like be working on new shit and thinking about throwing some shows. They got a backyard. It's like, all right, dude, let's get after it this summer. Like, let's do it.
Yeah. Yes.
Shout out Joey, so giant, my guy. He's a fucking tall motherfucker.
I can't wait to be one of the shows, man. I'm excited to see what you do, and I'm excited what everybody does. This place is awesome, man.
I appreciate that, man.
It's gonna, yeah.
I got to see you perform.
Nothing but potential for everybody, and I just want to. I'm in the raising business. I wanna give love and whatever I can, and whatever I have, if there's anything to give, like it's available.
But you definitely got some knowledge that you've
feels like it. I mean,
got from your own experiences or your grandfather.
Yeah,
and your passing,
yeah. I was raised by I was a later in life child, so I was raised by like old people. Like old people were my people. I've always been. My dad would take me to bluegrass festivals and stuff. Like, who hangs out with old people? Like, I'm just around old people. That's where I learned like banjo and mandolin and all this bluegrass stuff. Like bluegrass festivals are sick. They're just a good hang. Like everybody goes camps in a field, just like in a field, and then they play around campfires and have shows and all night. It's just a big mingle fest of playing music.
Yeah, my mom's older cousin is in a bluegrass band, the Dirty Birdies.
Nice.
And he plays the washboard.
Yeah, he does.
But we've gone out to see them because they're probably like it's my uncle Joey, my aunt Wanda, and they're like probably in their like late 60s, early 70s, and it's just always a great time. Like
it is. It's hard to be in a bad mood with bluegrass playing.
And they're like real bluegrass, and like they live out in like Carlisle, Pennsylvania. They have like own a farm like next to all like the Amish, but they're not Amish. But they have like like goats, chickens, cows, and just playing bluegrass.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I mean, it can get to be a bit much, but I love banjo. Is the first like thing I heard that I was like, what is that? I want that. I want to do that, please. It's hard though. Yeah.
Man, what about that show you played?
Oh, we're playing on May 28th. Sorry. You said you wanted to see a show, but that one's in.
I haven't seen you perform probably since like before the pandemic.
I know.
I think you played at Exit In, like beginning of February 2020. Was the last time I saw you.
I know. God, so it's just like those 2 years have been a blur. It doesn't even feel real. Anyway,
you played that show last week.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It was raining.
Yeah, like the forecast was not looking good. And it was so funny. It seemed like one of those things where like everything was gonna like shit was gonna hit the fan, but no one said anything bad. Like nothing. Like if like the plane was bumping and you were on the plane ride and the pilot's like, "Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're just enjoying a little bit of, like everything's totally fine." Yeah, like the skies are thundering. It's like pouring down rain. The fences are blowing over. It looks like a tornado is gonna happen. Like shit's flying, and no one's like, "We might need to reschedule. Maybe we'll think about doing it later." Like that was never uttered. It was just like, okay, just load on right over here. Okay, cool. We'll start at 5:30, and there was also an art festival going on. So it was the whole Centennial Park, big open field full of tents, and they're just flying. Shit is flying. I'm just watching it from in my truck. Like, okay, we're gonna play. We're playing. Okay.
You're under like a tent though, right?
Yeah, I mean
stages.
Yeah, that, a straight above you tent, but rain's really coming down right at you, so it's just like the stage is wet. So I used their amps. I'm like, oh, I'll use your equipment actually. Thank you.
Smart. Yeah.
But yeah, so another adventure in Centennial Park. Yeah, that cracked me up. I was like, just go ahead and load on. Like, people are tying shit down and like holding it down.
Is there a good crowd out there?
Yeah, people showed up. It tapered off and eventually was just fine by the time but when you sound check hours before the show starts, it was torrential at times, and then yeah, the sun peeped out and dried stuff up a little bit. People came out, yeah. Free show in the park, come on.
Yeah, I would have went, but we were supposed to work a Willie Nelson concert that night, and then it got canceled.
That's right.
And then I was kind of bummed. And
it got rescheduled, didn't it? Right?
Didn't want to leave the house.
Yeah, it got rescheduled to the weekend of Bonnaroo.
Oh shit! Yeah, we're gonna be working Bonnaroo.
You're gonna be at Bonnaroo?
We're working it. Yeah.
So
great.
I need to sell my tickets for Bonnaroo because I bought tickets for it back in like 2019. And then 2020, they're like, pandemic happens, like, we're going to postpone it, but your tickets are still good for next year. And then last year, the day I was going to drive down, or like the day before it, they're like, hey, we just had this like giant storm.
Yeah, it's muddy.
It's like too muddy to like load it, like do load in.
I remember that.
And like, we're not ready for thousands of cars to just show up.
That would have been a mess.
So we're just going to have to cancel Bonnaroo. Your tickets are good for next year's, though.
Oh.
And that's this year, and now I'm working. So I was like, oh, let me just...
make some bread real quick, dude.
Yeah. Man, people are going to be so hungry for the roux. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it's been a 2-year hiatus, so...
Willie Nelson's my favorite guitar player, and he's like one of my favorite musicians like ever. Like he was my dad's guy, so he's like my guy too. You mentioned you went to like a concert by yourself. You go to if no one's going to go with me, I'm going. Yeah. That was me with Willie Nelson whenever he came to the Northwest. I had my boss at the time, whatever, I was working at a restaurant. I had her buy me some beer, and I went and drove by myself for like 3 or 4 hours to like this he played in the country, and then I just like got drunk by myself in my car, and then walked inside, and I was just like, I ran to the front of the stage like, Willie, I fucking love you. I threw my hat on stage. It was like magic. I threw my hat on stage, my cowboy hat, because I knew sometimes he'd wear them if you threw them up there. And I rushed the stage. People were like sitting like in rows like for paid seats, and I just ran down the middle. I was like up against like, Willie, I fucking love you. Threw the hat. He points at me. He picks it up. He puts it on. I still have the hat. He signed it, and I got it back later.
That's sick.
But yeah, and enjoy Willie anytime you can. He's the real one, man. He's the real one.
It would have been interesting to work that show.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, I know.
But like, I was just curious how many people are gonna be smoking weed at that show.
I know, and
Because
Franklin's not friendly with that.
I know, but like Willie Nelson, I feel like would be like, if he heard that, you know, shit was going down because people were smoking weed, he'd be like, well, I'm not fucking performing then, and then they have to let people fucking smoke weed.
I would I hope he does that. He could pull that card.
For sure. And he's like, nah, I feel like that just comes with it, like Wiz Khalifa, even like, or Snoop Dogg. It's like, you can't stop people from smoking weed.
Yeah, what's a Snoop Dogg show? Because he just played at Bridgestone. I really wanted to go, honestly.
And Wiz performed there this summer. I'm curious, like, what are they going to do when 20,000 Wiz Khalifa fans come in here with a bunch of joints? Like, what's going to happen?
I want to be there, is what.
Let's go, bro.
Yeah. I want to at least see what that looks like. What does 20,000 joints at one look like? Oh, looks like that. Very interesting.
I did go to a Snoop and Wiz concert once, but I don't remember what it looked like because I smoked maybe 25 joints.
Because I couldn't see through the haze of anything.
It was also 2016, dude. That was 6 years ago. I've done so much shit since then, so memory's not the best.
That's understandable. I bet it was a good time, though. It sounds like a good time.
It was.
I like that Wiz and or Snoop and Willie are friends. Like, they are just on a level together.
Well, same with, like, Snoop and Martha Stewart.
Right. They're
like
friends.
Best friends.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love Snoop? Dude?
That's
or,
true.
You know, Willie Nelson.
They guys. There's something to this ganja smoking. I think everybody seems to get along with these guys.
Snoop said the realest shit in this like documentary about weed on Netflix. He's like, if you had 4 people in a room and you put a bunch of booze in there and like you lock them in that room, they're gonna fucking kill each other in there. If you leave them in there with weed, they're gonna be friends,
taking selfies.
Yeah.
Doing all sorts of goofy shit.
Yeah. It's really
yeah, he's entirely right. But hey, to each their own. I think everybody's on their own kick, and that's good. Yeah, I just don't want to see my friends get hurt. You know, that's the tough part. So,
yeah.
The longer you live, the more friends you lose, and the crazier shit gets. And you just want to keep an eye on your homies, is all, which is good. So, if you can, be good to yourself and be good to your friends best you can. But whatever, in your 20s, you're pretty much good. I guess you guys gotta watch out for fentanyl. They're even putting that stuff in weed.
That's why they need to fucking legalize it down here.
It's
Get
true.
on it, Tennessee. Fucking
I know.
legalize it.
It's true.
People should know where they're getting their shit from.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
We're in the middle of an opioid epidemic, if you didn't already
I
know.
would love to be a part of the solution and not part of the problem. So, I think that, yeah, Tennessee's on its way. Nashville is progressive, but
the rest of Tennessee's
not so much. No, I'm from Oregon and Washington, and they legalized it right when I left town, and I was...
Weren't they, like, closer to, like, legalizing, like, mushrooms and, like, the...
In Oregon?
I think I remember reading something.
It's not... You don't get in trouble anymore for having anything. Yeah. Like, they not legalized it, but it's just, like... They like legalized all the drugs.
Decriminalized.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You don't get in trouble for possession anymore, which is interesting. They also legalized urban camping, which is not going well. So there's just a lot of homeless and drugs and crime. But I think legalizing and at least just letting you know where you find or what's in your stuff. Like it's important to have these safe herbs, access to it.
At least medicinally, too. Come on.
Of course. I just don't want to... I mean, too many people... I mean, we're around a lot of musicians. Musicians do drugs. Like, that's part of the deal. It's... I didn't come up with that.
Yeah, have you ever seen the Dewey Cox story?
Right, yeah.
We're doing drugs in here.
It's the cheapest drug there is.
Can't get addicted to it.
Yeah, Kev showed me that movie like the first weekend we were here, dude. We were
never saw it, and I was like, oh, well, we're watching.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
I know. You just keep an eye out on your people. That's all we can do, and have fun. You figure it out.
I love it, man.
Yeah,
it's been great talking to you. For sure,
man. It's been great being here. I just like speaking the mind. Hopefully, encouraging others to go do their thing. I walked past a guy. This is real. This was hugely pivotal for me. Not like a change in my life, but also just like you saw that for a reason. And I was walking in Seattle past the beer aisle, and some guy was down there on the beer aisle by himself and just going, do your thing. And just like looking at the beers, just like do your thing. And that was one of those those moments where you're like, I was meant that's all I saw. Like when you just look as you're walking past an aisle and that's all I saw. Yeah. Like that was like, oh yeah, you're on the right path, man. You're just gotta do your thing, whatever that is, you know. And like I just felt so reassured that like I was on the right path. And also that's just like, I just want to say that to anybody, like do your thing, whatever that is.
Hell yeah.
Don't let the gatekeepers keep you down, you know. Like this is a land of do your thing.
Yeah, even if you're a little different. I mean, you're like obviously have, you know, influences of older music like classic rock and stuff, but you have a very unique sound, I think. A combination of all these different influences.
Yeah, that's the fun part, right? When you take your own blend of stuff, like where you've been and the stuff that you like, and you mix it, and you got to be unafraid to have your own combination of stuff. But you know that's scary sometimes because when you see what works, you're like, okay, that works. I'm watching someone do that. But then when what your thing is different than that, then it's scary. Like, well, what if that doesn't work, man? What if it's not what the people want? That's scary, and that takes courage. And this town is full of those people that are throwing shit at the wall, trying to make it stick, and that's just great energy to be around, you know. But yeah, I just love music, and I love being here. I'll just talk about my hats real quick, but that's all. I just love hats. I've always loved hats. And during the pandemic, I cut apart my favorite one of these kinds of hats, stole its pattern. My mom had taught me how to sew, so I just started putting them together and like, okay. Because I was punk rock, you know, when I was 13, so I had to sew on patches to my vest, you know, to be punk rock. I was tired of asking my mom to sew on my anarchy patches. Mom, can you sew on my rancid patch? Thanks. So that's where the craft stuff started. But yeah, and then I started making these hats, man. I just love them, and because, again, it was out of necessity. Like, I didn't want to be buying these hats for like 60, 70, 80, $100. It's like, I'll just make them. So if you want one now, Matt Hatter, I'm Matthew, Matt Hatter, I'll make you one. Holla. I'm on Instagram only. Word of mouth only. Keeping it underground.
Matt.Hatter.
That's right. That's me. So,
hey,
stay alive, stay creative, stay cool, enjoy the journey. Peace be the journey.
We're living it, man.
I know, right?
We got some more. Do you have some more time to keep talking for a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. I do have to pee though.
Yeah, we usually take a pee break somewhere around here. Yeah, so
for sure.
Let's take a few minute break. We'll be right back.
Cheers.
Enjoy.
Wild story.
We're getting right back into it. We're back from this pee break.
And we're back.
I want to hear it.
Yeah, so most hateful person I met was at Fish. And so like me and my boy Adam, we try and do like a little mini tour, like whenever they're like in the East Coast and stuff. Mm-hmm. But we went to a show in like Camden, New Jersey, which is one of the most high crime areas in the United States.
It sounds high crime.
Oh, it's like right across the river from Philadelphia, and it's where like all the Philadelphia like sewer scum, they just go to Camden.
Oh, okay.
And like growing up, like there's a nice part of it where there's like a nice little amphitheater and an aquarium. And like in middle school, like elementary school and stuff, like we did a field trip to the like Camden Aquarium, and our school bus has to have a police escort to and from. Yikes! It was like that area. But anyway, so
the aquarium.
Yeah, so you know we went down to Camden for this show, and you know we're lining up a couple joints, and some guy comes out of his like Winnebago, and he's like, "You guys smoking a doobie?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure, come chill." And like we're talking to him, and we're like, and he's like, "You know, we're like, where are you from?" He's like, "I'm from Rochester." We're like, "Oh, like how you like it?" He's like, "I hate it. Too many black people." So me, we're like, whoa, like we're not gonna smoke with you. Like we don't really want to talk to you. He's like, well, like I'm a crackhead. I hate black people. We're like, whoa.
That's a crackhead thing? That's not a crackhead thing.
Generalization of all crackheads.
They're like justified his racism and just smoking crack. He's like, and we're just like, we're just not gonna associate with this guy.
Yeah, you have to leave that guy alone.
Then like on the lawn though, we like saw him again. Like he wasn't like with us or anything. Like we saw him like like a few like.
He was there for the fish show?
Yeah. We saw him like 20 yards away, just get into a fight with somebody. So
crack is a hell of a drug.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Well, it's so wild because, like, you know, like Fish, like the whole jam band scene with them, it's all like everybody's just, you go to live, you just everybody's doing whippets. You see, like, all the
everybody's so fucked.
Dude, the funniest stuff is like every now and then you'll see like just like a couple cops just like emptying, you know, like a canister, and you see like maybe like 20 people just in a circle or like just watching it, just frowning, and they're just so depressed.
No, my whippets. I was gonna have a good time.
It's gonna be the best 10 seconds of my life.
Now I'm just gonna have a mediocre time at this Fish show.
See, drugs should enhance the experience, not fucking.
That's what I'm saying, man. Whatever you do, as long as it's serving you, that's the ticket. You gotta, but that's an inside answer. Only you can answer that. So getting caught up with other people doing other things, that's when it gets tricky. Alcohol was not serving me, so I stopped drinking it. Is it bad? I don't know.
I feel that. I mean, I'm definitely need to like slow down with booze, and not like that. Not that I drink a lot. Honestly.
This is only me.
You booze like once a week, and then you're hungover for the next 6 days.
You're already 39.
It's like, damn.
Well, I mean, hey,
it's definitely not the best thing for you. Like,
I'm
it's
just
good
saying,
to moderation. I think if you can have fun with it, but
right. And I think like whatever, what you drink, how much of it you drink, I think it all matters. And I think with intention too. Like, are you drinking to like drown your sorrows away, or are you drinking to have a good time? I think all that matters. You know, if you're sharing drinks with your family over dinner, like it's wine or something, I don't know. I feel like it all matters. And I'm not saying I'm not going to drink ever again. I don't even say that I just, to concise the phrase, I just say I don't drink. But I'm like, I'm not drinking now. I'm not drinking right now. It happens to be 4.5 years or something, 5 years. But yeah, I'm not drinking right now. I might. Like if I go to Spain, and because we went to this place where they have cider. Like it was like they made their cider. It was like carbonated cider, and they would pour it from really high up in the air. Like that was the style. You had to like, you know, it's fun, but it was like that's how the waiters would do it. They would hold their arm all the way down, hand all the way up, and just pour it, and they would just, you know, they would have perfect aim, and that's how they'd fill up one of your cups. And it would make it all bubbly, and there's your cider. Like, if I was there again right now, give me a fucking cup of cider. I want it. Like, yes.
How can I say no?
Like, it's so, like, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Like, one cup while you're there, whatever. Okay.
But if it's just like a standard, like, PBR at some, like, dive bar, then.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I mean, yeah, you just have that trust with yourself.
Same with meat. Like, when first time I went to Spain, I ate every piece of Spain is a cow. Bull. They invented bullfighting. Like, they are a cow culture. It's all about the cows and the bulls in fucking Spain. I had burgers, I had steaks, I had sausages, I had every goddamn thing. Blood sausage. Crazy shit.
That's like Germany with sausages too.
Right, the worsts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like, you know, I've been satisfied in those areas, so I'm like, I'm not really hungry for it. You know, I don't feel like I'm missing anything.
How was the food in England? Like when you did your European tour, if you went to England?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did like 2 weeks in all around England. It was pretty good. Like I said, every dinner we had was catered from a really good traveling chef that made good, healthy. You know, they had meat options too, but also vegan food. Because the singer of the band is very healthy and wanted good food every day. So we at least had one good piece of food, but in England, you know, they're famous for not having good.
So like, I follow
for not having good food.
I follow English soccer a lot, and like on Twitter and stuff, I'm always seeing like just examples of the food they sell at like the soccer stadiums, and it's just always disgusting.
Yeah. Going to England, I learned a lot about where America got some of its traits from. You know what I'm talking about? And we got it from England, is what I'm saying. But there's some good food there. I love fish and chips, so I ate a lot of that. I enjoyed that. But it wasn't. I don't remember being bad. Honestly, I don't remember being bad. I was like, I think it'll be right. Yeah, it has a reputation for not being good. But hands down, Spain and France and Italy.
Oh,
Oh, just don't even. The pizza in Italy,
Unreal.
it was like magic. Like you've had good pizza. I'm sure you've had great pizza, but
Oh yeah.
when
New Haven's got great pizza.
when you get pizza from Rome and they bring it to you, and
different.
it's just like the texture, it's just like it's like magic. It doesn't. You don't swallow it. It just like becomes a part of you. Like it just melts into your being.
It's been 10 years since I've been to Italy. I've been 3 times.
That's right. You've been. Shit. Oh
and
my God.
New Haven does have great pizza.
It's
too,
magic.
But
And the pasta. I don't know.
Unreal.
Italy is. Yeah. They got it going on. Same with France. Obviously has. I think France has invented almost everything about cooking, and there's a good reason.
France has invented everything about everything.
That's right. Ask France about it. Big fan of the food. Yeah, for sure. Can't wait to go back. Honestly.
Man.
So like, what's like typical day on tour?
Over there touring.
Well, no, just in general.
Wake up, get some. Well, in America and Europe, they're different.
So like the most like recent tour you did then?
Yeah, so I like to get up and try to get that free breakfast. If I like to stay at a place that has free breakfast. I mean, if we can't, we go for the cheapest place. But when looking for the options, if it has a free breakfast, I'm like, let's have it. And
balling on a budget.
I rarely it's rarely good, but I like the waffles and I like just getting up with the old ladies and like just being there in the morning, like watching whatever Fox News or bullshit they're watching, and just like I like being up. Also, because I can't sleep and just laying in bed isn't very fun. So I get up, eat whatever. We leave by 11 because that's checkout time. That's usually when you hit the road, unless you have to leave earlier if your drive day's longer. Drive. Get some coffee. Drive. Hopefully it's under 5 hours. Load in, whatever the time load in is. Sound check, usually. Dinner, eat some food between sound check and playing if there's enough time, and then
I just go the next set to play and then
maybe take a nap if you can after dinner, chill, get ready, stretch, be ready for the show, do the show, and then depending on when the show is, sometimes they're at 7:00, sometimes you play at 11, sometimes you play at 10, so you play for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, so you're looking at midnight by the time you're getting off the stage or something like that. And then you hang out, you talk to people, you sell merchandise, you pack it up. Hopefully you have booked a hotel and you know where you're going. You drive there, you check in, and hopefully South Park, Family Guy, Ridiculousness, or
Ridiculous is always on.
which is great. I need that. I need that release at the end of the day. And it's great. We'll put that on and we'll just laugh ourselves to sleep. And then that's usually the end of the night. Maybe get some pizza. Sometimes we get a little slutty, get some pizza. And wake up and do it again. But obviously you fill in with, here and there, depending on times and whatnot. I like to go to vintage shops or antique shops or thrift stores, essentially. Whatever thrift store. I don't like actual vintage shops as much as just straight up charity thrift shops in whatever town. I love that. Just seeing what that town has given away, like what's in here. And you meet some real people in there. And a coffee shop. I like coffee shops. I'll go to whatever coffee shop. I drink a lot of coffee, so as soon as we get into town, I'll look up whatever is near me within walking distance. I'll walk. I like walking in town. I grab the paper, whatever local paper there is, drink the coffee, see if anybody's in there, invite them to the show. I'll put you on the list. What's your name? Great. We're a band. Come on out. Thank you, Stacy. Please come. Yes. And then, and then go play the show, do the thing. But I like to walk around, try to soak in the town. You get so little time, which was the only bummer part about touring in Europe is that there are these ancient, beautiful places that are just so old. America is such a baby country when you're walking around like, this road was made in 1110, and right over there is where Joan of Arc was burned, like real ancient castle shit, and these people are still living and walking and being around there. and you only have 7 or 8 waking hours there, that's all you get. So you have to you're tired and hungover, but you have to I would look out the window all the time. I wouldn't sleep in the van during the day, even though that's a great time to sleep in the van when you're traveling. It's I just want to be awake and look and see it all. I'm so hungover and tired. But I need to look at Spain going by,
Yeah. It's so, man, you're really trying to soak it in.
Well, when you're over there, man, it's a fucking huge deal.
Sleep when I'm dead type shit.
Yeah, right? I'm here. I need to get all this in right now.
Nice. So I'm trying to do down here.
Yeah. Right. But also sleep. Get some sleep.
No, I do love sleep. That's the problem, And
too
sometimes
much sleep.
Yeah, it's sometimes escapism too. It's where if I don't want to deal with shit, it's just take a nap.
No, that's good, man. I think that adds to a overall better outlook on life. It's when you're well rested, when you're full or fed well and you're rested, you're gonna be way more often half full kind of guy. At least for me, I'll be more positive and generally more optimistic. I'm full of good food and I'm not fucking tired. But yeah, when you're in Europe, you got to be alive and checking shit out, eating, drinking, looking, talking, tasting.
I know, it's going to be so interesting to go back there one day for me just because I haven't been since 13. I'm 23 now. It's been, I've been a completely different person from when I was that young.
Yeah, yeah.
So you'd be all right, let's have some real fun out here.
Yeah. You should go over there and rent a car and drive down the whole thing. You should just be there.
I think I'm going to Europe for a month or two in next summer.
Because all of it? You're going to all of Europe?
Well, so one of my best friends growing up, his dad owns a big pharmaceutical company out in Germany, and his dad lives in Germany. Mm-hmm. So every couple years he goes out, brings bring a few friends, stay in Germany, but then go
my best worst buddy. Get it?
Yeah.
Right. So you're going to Germany?
Yeah. So it'll be go to Germany and then be all right, hey, we'll go to Spain for a week. Go to Valencia and Barcelona, Madrid.
Yeah.
Then hey, we'll go over to go into Poland and Austria for a day.
Will soccer be happening? You gonna catch any games?
I'm gonna try. It just depends timing.
Go catch Real Madrid.
Might be Euro that summer.
Oh yeah. Hell
so
yeah.
that's the big one because I know my friend, he was actually out there the summer Germany won the World Cup in 2010.
That must have been a party.
It was just from the stories, just incredible.
Have you been to Germany before?
No.
It's crazy. It's beautiful. It's cool.
I just love all just everything I've heard about. Everybody just walks everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. Germans are very.
Everything's so close.
The Germans are very specific. We have a decibel. When we play there, we have a decibel meter. You are over the decibel numbers that we're allowed to have in this place. We were playing too loud. That was his way of saying that. Okay.
I just how they're all very no matter what, it's all the same. Everything's the same.
I laugh like this. You Americans. I'm not making this shit up. You guys, hey, Germany, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. You can't. I was there. I saw it.
And just the German language is just 99% yelling.
I don't remember that part. It is a language, it's rough edges. The Autobahn, that was fun to watch. Holy shit. Zoom, you're going fast. You're doing about, whatever, 10 above the speed limit, doing your trucking down the road, and then a beam of light goes past you. That was a car? Holy good God almighty.
Things are whipping, swerving. Man, talking about so much shit, it's very good. Something before I forget it. We were talking about earlier about documenting the whole process, how I kind of wanted to journal and shit. But an artist that I love, obviously we talked about him already, Wiz Khalifa. Why I love him so much too is you can go on YouTube and watch him become what he is now. You see it from the beginning when he's 21. I'm pretty sure it goes back to when he's 21. He's in his 30s now. and he's just like just starting. Like he looks so young, and then you just see him where he is now, and he's been killing it ever since. He was really his first album came out when he was like 18, like, and that shit was dope. It's like, dude, I'm still trying to be as good as that.
Sure.
Chief Keef put out Love So-So when he was like 15.
Shit.
Biggest inspiration.
That's a benefit of the internet. Yeah, I guess is you get to watch these people grow up in front of you, or watch someone's whole story, unfold or in the past time.
See all the highs and lowest lows of that whole career.
Yeah.
That's like the only thing that's like, yikes about it.
Yeah.
Like Justin Bieber, like he was like 14, 15 when like Usher found him, and then you saw him like put out a couple albums, and then it's like, oh hey, this kid's like egging houses and doing all this hood rat stuff, and everybody's like, hey, this guy's terrible, let's go deport him, and now everybody's like, oh, he's cool again.
Yeah. Nah, he's cool. I think he became Pete Davidson, right? You know what happened?
What?
Yeah.
He put on the PD outfit. I don't know his story, but to any person who has gotten that successful at that young of age and
that quickly,
I feel for them in a way. It's like great. You never have to worry about starving or anything. That's gonna be nice. That's gotta be really nice. But they're never gonna know what it's like to play at the Spring Water on a Tuesday night for 9 people. Not that that's super sought after, but it's like these micro magic moments that happen at these small shows that I think are so valuable. And my most magical experiences have been in these small, intimate shows that he's never gonna. I don't know if he'll get that. I think there's beauty in these like not stadium shows that these kids get thrusted into. It's like, all right, go be a stadium performer. Here you go.
Yeah.
I feel like my last show that I did before I moved down here, like it's just a bar in my hometown, have a bunch of friends and family turn out, and it was like the best time ever. Yes. And like I'm there in the crowd talking to everybody, giving a hugging, dapping up everybody that comes into that place, like saying what's up, thanks for coming. Like you don't get to see that shit forever.
No. Which hopefully, that's part of the progression, right? It's like hopefully you get to where you want to be. And I don't know. I think it's important to kind of maybe choose or shoot for a place, Like where do you want to be? Do you want to be a stadium act? Do you want to be a club act? Do you want to be a theater act? Like what do you want to visualize it? What does it look like? If you were ruling the world and you're like right where I want to be, what's it look like? And that can change. And that changed for me, for sure. Because it was like, I want everything. I want everything. When you come to town, it's like, oh, I want everything. I'll take it all. I want all of it. And now I'm like, I have every guitar that I want, Not every, but like, I have a guitar that I love. I have an amp. I have a band. I have a van. I have shows to go play. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of on top of the world right now. Like, that's how it feels to me.
Yeah, like success is what you define it as. And if you feel successful, then fuck
like,
that.
Yeah, of course there could be better things and, upgrades in certain aspects. But, like, I watch these videos of, like, I love Indian culture, like sitar, India, music, classical music, Indian music, and watching these guys make these instruments. They're like on a dirt floor, they have no shoes on, and they're just making this most beautiful instruments out of like primitive tools, and it's so beautiful. And like, man, we're so lucky we get shoes and vans, and it's weird if you don't have shoes here, but over there
that's normal.
That's so super normal. I'm just saying, I'm just being thankful, and that we're like, man, everything's okay. Like, that feels like success to me. Like, yeah, sure, selling out a stadium, I guess that would be cool. I think. I don't know. I don't care now. Like, it doesn't.
When do you think that mindset like changed for you?
Probably when I realized like that was like when I saw behind the curtain when we like were at our with the most going on for us as the Blackfoot Gypsies when we were with Paradigm, and our booking agent was the booking agent of like the Grateful Dead and the Black Crowes and these people who did stadiums, and like I was seeing the people and the functioning and the money and the persuasion and the politics and everything that goes into every big act you've seen ever, the things that go into it. I was turned off by it. It was like, I'm not running towards this. Like, I don't want to be that, I guess. This is not what's attractive to me, is this whole business and like playing favorites, or, you know, there's a lot of politics that go on, money or coolness, or I don't know. I came here to do my thing and like be my person, and if that's not good enough, then like I'm not trying to bend to whatever would make me be your stadium bitch, you know, whatever that is. I don't care. So I guess it's when I got close enough to the sun, and I was like, everyone who gets that close to the sun, not that I even have that opportunity, not that I'm like, oh, they were trying to hand me success, and I was like, no, if it gets there naturally, then I'll deal with it then. But like, I would tear myself down or feel like I wasn't good enough, or like I wasn't doing it right, or I'm not worthy of that. You know, that's what I was telling myself. But then when you see that, what is required of you and it and that, I'm like, okay, I don't want to do it that way. I want to play my entire life and acquire a fan base one at a time. And by the time I'm 60 or whatever, then I'll have awesome fans everywhere I go. Like, that's fine with me. I'll do it the hard way. That's never bothered me, and that's what I've been doing. So probably like we got dropped from our booking agency the day of the March 3rd, 2020 tornado in Nashville. So it went. This was this day. We had a meeting. They knew we were gotta come in. Hey, come in. We gotta talk. Oh fuck. They never want to talk to us about anything. We're always asking them to talk. Like, hey, they never want to talk to us. Like, what the fuck they want to talk to us about? So we go downtown to the 22nd floor, where the fuck it was. Our guy lets us go in the nicest way possible. Thank you, Jonathan Levine. Love you. Really do appreciate everything you gave us. We had great time there, and it was fine. No, they did what they had to do. They had to downsize, and it's understandable. Blah, blah, blah. Super thankful for that experience through and through. They had to let us go. Then we went to a photo shoot that we had already booked. We needed some new press photos, so we had to go. We just got dumped, and we had to go get dressed up and like smile, like, all right, press photo time, all right. But we had already scheduled it, and then the motherfucking tornado came through East Nashville and North Nashville, and tore shit up. Like, I don't know if you guys were here about it or knew about it.
I was here. This was where I was.
Yeah,
here.
I was gone by then.
It was a big deal, very big deal. They're still fixing shit from it. Still scarred from it 2 years later. Anyway, that was March 3rd, 2020, and then the pandemic happened. So
that was like March 11th, 2020.
Yeah. So I don't know. Right around then, I don't know. And just also, I don't want to be greedy. I don't think musicians. I don't like the mindset of, I'm a musician, I'm a god, I'm fucking genius, so I should have a lot of money and I have all this shit and I'm worthy of all this because I'm so fucking good at everything. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't want to be that. So I think of it as more like stewardship, service.
Yeah.
You're a monk. You are on a pilgrimage to live a life worth, sharing with people, honing a craft, something worth honing, sharing it as often with as many people as possible. Have enough to eat, keep going, survive, be comfortable. The starving artist thing sucks. It's not fun. I was living off PBR and crackers when I was playing drum for Phil Hummer. Like I had $50 a week from that gig, and I was living in my bus in a backyard of a friend's house. In the school bus I drove here, I was living in that for a couple of years, in the backyard, living off nothing. So like having something is cool. I think that's fine enough to then just like serve, like go to work. So like I quit wearing rings and all this jewelry. Like I'll still wear, I like getting dressed up. I like dressing up and having fun. But like being flashy and like being this like I'm above you. I'm higher than someone else thought is gone from my mind. Maybe that's come from my experiences that I've chosen to expand my mind with, thoughts, meditations, blah, blah, blah. But over time, it's just like that. I don't care about that. I'm uninterested in that, having lots. So if I can have a lot, I'm going to do more with sharing and propelling others to share too, So if that comes through, then great. But I'm happy with doing my work, I like working. It's fine. I'll load the gear. I'll play the show. It makes people happy. I feel like it's worth doing. It's music is a human right, I think, and then being able to experience it and have a live music interaction is sacred, I think. It's like magic. Like when a band starts or a performer starts in the arena that we were talking about, like what happened? Magic is like something is happening. Is like electric. It's otherworldly, and we figured it out, and that's why we're addicted to it. We love it, and we keep doing it. And humans love this shit, and I love it. I get it. It's caveman, visceral, super simple, but also like universally complex. Like I feel like we're all more part of the universe at once when we're all like jive into like one thing together, So as many of those.
That's why festivals are so interesting, dude.
Totally.
I went to my first one last summer in Chicago, and I went by myself. Just went.
What was it?
It's called Lyrical Lemonade Summer Smash. It's like a bunch of hip hop artists that I listen to. Some pretty popular artists, like 3 stages, 3 days. Like so many artists, and I was just like made a couple friends there. We were catching all the same acts that we wanted to see, and just running around this park, Douglas Park in Chicago, having the time of our lives.
All right.
Like wasn't even drinking that much, smoking a little bit, just enjoying it, just chilling in the summertime. And it was,
the best.
like I think maybe like one of the first shows I've been to since the pandemic. And
without the music, it's just a nice day in the park, which is great. But what a great excuse to get together. Music is the ultimate excuse for like having a good time.
It was turned up. I was going crazy. Like I've never like really been in a mosh before. Like those moshes aren't like too crazy, like a metal show or some shit. But like they were like it was definitely turned up at some point.
Yes.
So
I think my favorite mosh pit I've ever been in is there's this festival in Asbury Park, New Jersey that started like 4 years ago called See Here Now.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a surf and music festival.
I love Asbury Park.
So it was like right on the I lived like 20 minutes from Asbury Park like growing up.
Yes.
But so it was like they put 2 stages like on the sand on the beach. And
sounds awesome.
The first year though, like the Sunday, I forget who headlined Saturday, but the Sunday of it was Jack Johnson and Social Distortion.
Oh.
And Social Distortion actually like went 20 minutes over their festival set time.
Sorry, we had to jam.
And so what they did was they did their set, and with like 5 minutes after, like, hey, like, if they told us if we go over our set time that it'd be like a $20,000 fine. We don't care about that. And then they brought out Bruce Springsteen.
Oh.
And like in Asbury Park, where he like
he's the king.
Yeah, he's the king. Everybody just lost their minds.
I fucking bet.
They played like a couple songs. They covered Wheel of Fire.
Oh shit!
But earlier in that day, Village People performed.
I'm liking what I'm hearing.
And the whole crowd was like, hey, let's do a Wall of Death mosh pit for the drop in YMCA.
Hey. Oh, no, that's Macho Man. How does the YMCA start?
Oh, wait, no. We did like the circle mosh pit for YMCA. Wall of Death for Macho Man.
I love Asbury Park. Man, I didn't know about that. That's too cool. I wonder how much Social Distortion was getting paid to throw off $20,000. Maybe the boss covered it. Maybe they didn't charge him because it was the boss. It's actually the only one thing that'll get you out of that is if you bring Bruce Springsteen up.
Yeah.
Then okay.
Well, I think it's also they're big enough where I think it's not as much to them.
Could you imagine getting paid $20,000 a show? I know people get paid way more, obviously, a huge amount.
Even that,
but
I'd
like,
be grateful, or
like,
even like.
Or it might have also been a situation where like they're getting maybe like 10,000, and it was like, hey, if you mess up, like
right,
you're giving us 10,000.
Yeah. We don't care about the social distortion. I love it. Mike Ness is badass. That's good. No, that's cool. I love to hear it.
So we're like passing the 2-hour mark over here.
Yeah, so
But I do want to talk about a few more things.
Sure.
Just want to keep us on track.
Yes, sir.
I want to talk a little bit more about DeeOhGee and like your decision or the band's decision to like have that as the new name, and then your first album that you guys released last December 2021.
Yes.
New Way of Life.
New Way of Life. Yeah, man. We wrote all those songs like they all pertain to like the 2020s, like each song, even like Mask. Zach wrote a song called Mask. I have a song called Going to the Woods, so like, leaving town. New Way of Life, obviously. All these songs were like slightly about it. Anyway, so we changed our band name because people were getting offended. Some people were getting offended online about those words, and so we had gotten, it had come over waves of, over the years of like some people get upset. Twitter was a hotbed of people getting upset about it. So I was like, I don't like this. I don't want to make people mad on accident. Like if I want to make people mad, I'd rather be intentional. And these are the people I don't want to upset either. Like I wasn't trying to. I named this shit after you because I loved you in this culture, in this thing, not because I was trying to belittle you or take from you. I was taking. Their culture is not something that I should just adapt to me and a white guy who may or may not have native blood. Who cares? What does it matter? Doesn't matter? No. What did matter was that it was upsetting people, some people, for whatever reason, and I didn't like that. I didn't want to have to keep rolling the dice of when I run into you at a gas station and I look weird and you're like, hey, are you in a band? I'm like, yeah, what's the name of your band? When I tell you, I was like, oh God. I would always hold my breath. Like, is this person going to get mad at me? Like, cause it would, like, occasionally you would run into someone like, are you Native American? No. Are you from the middle Europe? Like, Eastern Europe? Like, well, maybe. Then it's just it all became that, and like not about the music at all. Like it was just like I don't know.
Like the music took a backseat to the name.
Yeah, and I didn't want it to be about that. And I thought it was a cool name. Whatever. It's like I thought it was like naming a mascot, which obviously a lot of mascots have been renamed, and I'm totally with it. I have learned so much from having made that ignorant decision as a 19-year-old trying to name their band something cool. So I listened and I tried to learn. And so when the pandemic hit and the tornado hit and we got dropped and everything, I'm like, this might be a good time to change our band name. It seems like
New Way of Life, start fresh.
I mean, and then also that was just the name of the songs. Like it didn't even. Yeah, right.
It's coming together naturally. It just happened. Yeah,
all of that just seemed to like it seemed planned and like seemed formulated in a way, but it totally wasn't. Anyway, we had thought up every band name. We had lists and lists. We had months and lists, and we would like this, and we'd stick on it for a few days, and then we'd just let it pass, and like it had to pass like the 3-day mark or something of like, after 3 days, does it still sound cool? Like, or do you think it's dumb? Anyway. We kept revolving around dog, something dog, peace dog, love dog, I don't know, something dog. We just like dogs, I don't know why. But then Dylan was like, how about DeeOhGee? Like, just DeeOhGee. I'm like, yeah, that sounds cool. I'm like, do you want to spell it out? Because if people just read DeeOhGee, they're just going to say dog. Or we could put dots between it, so like initials, like DeeOhGee, like that? Or should we spell it out? What if we spell it out like... So we just wrote every version down, and the way we spelled it looked cool. I just like the way it's symmetrical in a way, and it just looks good, and it's not a the band, and like this is like a word and something that isn't like gonna make people think something already before they hear us. Like a lot of people are like, you're not a gypsy band, you don't play gypsy music, like so they had a thought in their mind already. So with DeeOhGee, it's like, are you a dog band? Like like you don't have a song playing before we start playing. You know what I'm saying? So it felt like a blank slate for us to fill in, and we're not taking from anything. We're not, we're not taking some culture that is sacred or something. I don't know. It just felt like empty enough for us to like take. It was an empty apartment, and we just moved over into it. You know.
Yeah.
And plus, dogs. Like, hey, if you don't like dogs, you probably fucking suck. You know, like, or if dogs don't like you, you know, you gotta.
Dogs know.
Yeah, Bill Murray said he's like, I try like. Dogs know. Like, I trust the dog more than I trust the person. If the dog doesn't like you, watch out for that guy. So, yeah, and it's cool to just have everything revolve around dogs. Like, everybody just says, dog this, dog that. And it was great. So
yeah, you got some cool artwork to go along with it.
Yeah, we have our friend Anna Pollock who we just kept throwing designs into her brain, and she would spit them out much cooler than we talked in. And so she's been a great help rebranding and just with all this fun artwork and cool stuff. And so it's just like, whatever, we're getting over the dog, and it's just gonna be like, whatever. You're not even gonna think about that anymore. You're gonna think about us after a few years. You're just gonna think about this band. You're not gonna think about.
And then it kind of also like they're the OGs, DeeOhGee.
Yeah, we're that. Yeah, we're gonna be that, right?
It's around here. I mean, you put your time in. You're 12 years in out here. I mean, like,
and that's nothing compared to so many other people, which is also inspiration. You see some of these cats who are like studio or tour musicians that are just like doing the gig, and they're just humble as fuck. Whatever. Black coffee, baseball cap, and they've been playing for 40 some odd years, and you can do it as long as your hands still work. You know, you can play, and they only get better. So I'm in it for the long game. You know, as best as I can. I already feel like an old not like I don't feel old. I feel very healthy and young and good, but like. I'm not interested in young people things usually. Like I never have been.
Like
even,
going to like a rave.
Yeah.
Some shit.
And the rave I went to was very fun, and I had a great time. But it's not like
those days behind you.
Yeah. Well, also I just never. I don't know. Even in like elementary school and stuff, like I was like these kids are childish. So I've always been attracted to older people. Like I was friends with the teachers rather than the students. You know, kind of deal. I don't know. I've always been interested in what older people had to say because they seemed smart. I don't know. I thought they had answers and stuff. So I just like old people. Always have.
They do have, and everyone's got their experiences, and they got more of it.
Yeah. 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 And my dad was an older guy when I was born anyway, so he was always knowledgeable. Wise, dropping some knowledge on me all the time. So fortunate to be raised by some older people. But yeah, I just want to keep playing as long as I can, man. So
that's the dream. Like goals for the future is to keep performing. And
yeah. There is no top of the mountain. That would make me sad. I would feel sad about like that.
Well, once you reach it, then it's like it's just downhill. There's no.
Well, no hill, really, just like forward, I guess. I mean, what's the reason? The reason is to play and to enjoy life and to have occasions where spontaneity is held. Because like during a rock and roll show or a performance, like shit happens that doesn't normally happen. Like you do things that don't normally happen. Things happen, and I love traveling and performing, or playing music with my friends and meeting people and doing stuff and experiences. So that's the other reason too. Is like, why would I have ever gone to Dubuque, Iowa? Jesus Christ, like why? But I've been there. I went to the coffee shop. I know there's a college there. I know that there's the shortest, steepest incline railway up the side of a hill there. I've been to the thrift store. I've seen their homeless. I've seen the clock tower. I drove up the hill. Like I know things about this town now. And that's why I like to keep going. So traveling and seeing stuff is fun. And I just want to keep doing it.
Man, well, I don't see you stopping anytime soon.
Right, but I mean, you got to be careful though, right?
Yeah.
Because on the road traveling, you see crazy wrecks all the time. You just like, I don't know if you're religious or whatever, but it's just like you gotta have. You feel like you have to have a guardian or something to watch out for you. I'm always praying to my people and my things and just like, please help, watch out. I feel like once you like give thanks, then you drive different. Like I have a good luck charm on my earring. I always rub it before I drive. And then once I do that, then I drive different. Like then I'm like
flip the switch.
Like I'm not like aware. Like I'm not gonna be one of those defensive or like asshole drivers. Or it's like you're driving from like a point of gratitude in a way. But there's so many risks out there all the time. I've been robbed and shit, at gunpoint, and had our van broken into and towed and whatever. A lot of crazy shit. But what's the alternative? Like staying home?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. Getting a job at Walgreens at the photo department? Not that that's bad, but when the option is to go out there and like try some crazy burritos and rock and roll and talk to some girls and go to an antique shop and walk around and rock and roll, like fuck, what? Let's do that. I want to do that. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing. I'm just gonna keep doing that until it's not fun anymore, until it no longer serves me, which it's serving me greatly now.
Hell yeah. I'd love to see it, man. Such an inspiration and just great person all around.
Thanks, dog. Likewise. Good vibes all around. I'm glad you guys are here and continuing on with what you think is right and what's rad. That's the answer, man. You guys are an inspiration as well. So, episode 22, what?
Yes, sir.
Episode 22.
Man.
Do you have anything that you want to say or talk about before we wrap this thing up?
Anything you want to plug? Give a shout out to?
Well, what will this come out before the 28th?
What's today?
Today is...
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's coming out probably like within a couple days. So
oh,
yeah,
great. Well,
I was like, what's today?
On the 28th, May 28th, in East Park in East Nashville, Tennessee, we're playing a show with our friend Grace Bowers, who's a guitar prodigy lady. And she's going to join us for our whole set. And we're just going to... It's also a Neil Young tribute night, and some other really, like, awesome bands are playing. Lucinda Williams is playing, and Aaron Lee Tajjan. Some other real great musicians. I mean, we are so spoiled in Nashville. Like, it's easy to get, like whatever. There's musicians, whatever. But, like, there's some heavy...
There's good music all the time.
Yeah, all the time. There's... shit music too, but with the good comes the shit. But there's some great shit, man. I have just cried in my lap at some shows of just like a country guy laying it down on a song. I'm like, wow. But anyway, East Park, May 28th, and then we're doing a festival in Lake Cumberland, Kentucky. And that's a 2-day camp out situation. If you guys want to come, I could probably hook it up. But it's out on the lake on June 3rd and 4th. And we play one of those nights. And Sierra Farrell, one of the greatest voices to emerge of our time. If you haven't dug her, please listen to her because she's fantastic. She's headlining the kind of thing. And we're playing, and a bunch of other friends are playing. But yeah, it's beautiful land. Kentucky is crazy beautiful. You guys definitely take it.
I might be free actually.
Take advantage of it. Well, yeah, definitely let me know. And but yeah, that's worth going to. June 3rd and 4th. It's called the Black Mountain Jamboree. Our management company is called Black Mountain Management, and this is their jamboree.
Hell yeah, that's dope.
But no, I don't really have anything else to plug. But I don't know, get one of my books and my hats, or I don't know, come to a show. Yeah. That's it now. Like human interaction, like that's it. I used to kind of shy away from it. I'm still pretty private most of the time, but when I'm on the road, I'm like, let's have it.
Let's get lit.
Let's have everything. Let's talk. Let's meet. Let's see what's up. Who are you? What do you do? Right on.
I mean, that's what I talk about, like being in the cut too, just being at the shows, and also that's like how we met. Like we were just talking after you performed at 3rd and Lindsley, and then you're like, oh, I can get you on the list for tonight at the I'm performing at Basement. I was like, say less, I'll be there.
Come on.
Went with the other interns I was with, and then we were chilling after the show too. I bought a CD. I mean, I bought the vinyl of the live album.
That's right.
And the shirt, the old shirt, and
classic shirt.
Book too. And I read the book. Then I'm pretty sure I read the book the next day. I was like, I'm actually very interested to read this thing.
Just give me all the content.
Yeah, you got all. Yeah, you got all of my works at once. That's funny.
Yeah, and I appreciate you. You've just been such a homie ever since, and just passing on your knowledge and experience.
Man, yeah. Well, I mean, I've been super lucky with people being cool to me. So I think the only thing you can do is be cool to other people too. So whatever. I mean, I'm not. I don't. I feel like I haven't. I don't know. I feel like still like a nobody. Like I feel like I'm just a person, but like whatever. That doesn't matter. It's like you help your neighbor or whoever you run into. Like all of that is important.
Do your thing.
Do your thing.
That was a great part of the book.
Live your. I mean, that is the word. I have saw that. I've replayed that in my mind so many times to just be like, fuck it. I'm doing me today, baby. I'm doing me.
Hell yeah.
So if there's one thing we could take away from it, I'd say do your thing.
For sure. I got one more question for you.
Yes, of course.
Like, what's just the biggest lesson you've learned, like, the last 12 years being here?
Man. I think, I feel like the patience. Just patience with myself and with others. Because I was in such a hurry to get famous and be successful. You know, I left town like a rocket. I was out. Like, when you're gone, you want to go. I'm like, I'm here. I'm bloodthirsty. I'm doing it. I want to be top of everything. I want to be the man. I want everything, all of it now. So I was mad at myself, or like got down on myself when I didn't have it, you know. So not that I have it now, but I'm really happy with what I have and continue to be better. But it was patience and like accepting of where you are. Not being mad that you're not somewhere else, I guess. And especially with like gigs or bands or performances or your career or whatever you think you're doing, the patience to be like, stick with it, work harder. And when you think you've worked hard, work some more and be happy with whatever you get and be patient with others and be patient with yourself as far as like, if one of your homies is acting up or being crazy, you don't just write them off. You be patient. You're there for when you need to be there, right? So if you're consistent, like you're being with these shows, and you're consistent and you're like committed and you're into it and you're loving it, like just be patient and like good things come. You know, I just like working hard and being patient. I like applying patience to everything has been so huge for me and for my own like gut health, my mental health of like when you're in traffic, have patience. When you're in line at the grocery store, have patience. When you're dealing with drunk people who just want to talk to you after the show and then spit beer in your face because like my cousin plays in a band and like, yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. I'm here for you. So that I was not that way, and I think doing this has taught me that, and I'm still. Hey, I'm still practicing, you know. So, but I don't know. I feel better. Yeah, just being easy on myself.
I feel that.
It's rad.
Yeah.
I appreciate everything you've done, man.
Hey.
Just
Thanks, man.
being here.
Yeah, for sure.
Right now, in this present moment.
We're living in the moment, baby.
Hey.
And power to you, to the future, and
Thank you,
to all. And I know you're gonna keep it going, and I'll be seeing you around.
Of course.
Yep.
Can't wait to see you perform another show, man.
Yeah, I'll be around. You know, as long as I got air in the lungs, I'm doing it. I'm here.
Let's do it.
I'm in it. You're in it. You're here. You're here.
We in the cut, rolling doobies up. Hey. Kev, you got anything to say before we wrap this thing up?
Not really, no.
Cheers, boys.
Hey, I'm drinking water in my cup, son. Boop. Oh boy, let's bring it around town.
That's it. You tap the table in Tennessee.
I am your host, Kevin Liss.
I am also your host, Vincenzo. We're here with Matthew Paige of DeeOhGee.
Cheers. And of Planet Earth.
This has been episode 22 of the Endless Enjoyment Entertainment Podcast.
Hey, endless enjoyment, baby. EEP, beep, 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 beep. Big things coming soon for all of us. Stay tuned. Go stream DeeOhGee. DeeOhGee. DeeOhGee, baby. We out in Nashville, Tennessee.
Live it, live it.
Hey, enjoy. Thank you. Enjoy.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Nice work. Potatoes and whiskey are keeping me alive.